canceling today's signing of the bipartisan housing legislation designed to make home ownership more affordable for Americans. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
He's laser focused on Save America Act, as most common sense Americans are. The only path, I think, to get that done, because you're never going to get 7 Democrats to join 53 Republicans in the Senate to do that. They will not do it. Chuck Schumer will never vote for that or release any Democrat to do it. You have to put it on a reconciliation bill.
That bill would bypass state laws to severely limit mail-in voting and require a photo ID to get a ballot. The head of the UN's nuclear agency says his inspectors are ready to visit Iran's nuclear enrichment sites. Iran disputes that, now saying it won't allow them in until a final peace deal is signed. Beset by lawsuits and public criticism, Camp Mystic, the Texas Hill Country Christian camp where 27 people lost their lives in flash flooding last year, filing for bankruptcy. This is ABC News. Western Europe's life-threatening heat wave continues blanketing cities like Paris, London, Madrid, and Rome. ABC's James Longman has more from the foreign desk.
In France, it was the hottest day on record. Icons of Paris, the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre had to close early to keep tourists safe. With hundreds of schools closed and trains cancelled, crowds are flocking to lakes and rivers to beat the heat. But that's caused a surge in drowning deaths. And in Europe, AC is not that common.
I haven't stopped sweating since the second I woke up this morning.
You're just living on fans.
Experts warn of a dangerous heat dome looming over continental Europe.
They have also canceled the changing of the guard outside Buckingham Palace because it's too hot for the guards. No slowing down for this 85-year-old. Cops say they arrested a Florida man after he hit 110 miles an hour during an illegal street race. They say he told police officers while chomping on a cigar he was just out for a late-night drive. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Week 2 of World Cup soccer kicks off today. More on that in just a moment. But first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Wilcox Farms. Drive times are looking fantastic right now. Federal Way to Seattle, about 35 minutes. Linwood to Seattle, about 25 minutes. On I-5, expect some slowdowns in both directions through downtown Seattle, but nothing major. Eastbound I-90 is crowding onto Mercer Island and across Lake Washington, while westbound drivers are tapping the brakes a little bit as you approach I-5. SR 520 is seeing some heavy traffic westbound into Seattle, but those are typical backups for right now. For a convenient, healthy snack on the go, look for ready-to-eat Wilcox hard-boiled eggs. Find Wilcox eggs at Costco, Metro Market, Safeway, and other local grocers.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Preparations are underway right now for the third World Cup match hosted here in Seattle. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is in the Stadium District.
Bosnia takes on Qatar in the World Cup match here at Seattle Stadium. These games mean a lot more, of course, for a lot of folks like Elvedin. He was born in Bosnia, and he now lives in Chicago.
Yeah, we got here as refugees approximately beginning of 96, right after the civil war in Bosnia.
Yeah, and for him, escaping that civil war crimes, political persecution, being here with fellow Bosnians transcends the game.
Ahead of today's match at Seattle Stadium, health experts are warning people to stay safe during this hot weather. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin is in Occidental Square.
Doctors say you need to have that bottle of water with you and find a patch of shade so that you can avoid getting overheated today. Now, the match kicks off at noon. If you didn't snag tickets, there are watch parties at multiple bars across the city, including Westlake Park, Pier 62, here in Occidental Square, and at Pacific Place, along with so many more. Most of those parties, though, are outside, and a lot of them are in direct sunlight. Medical experts say on days like today, it's best to limit your alcohol intake, make sure that you're drinking a lot of water and electrolytes, wear sunscreen, and be in the air conditioning as much as possible.
Seattle police say a 15-year-old boy is in serious condition after a shooting Tuesday night along Aurora Avenue. When police arrived, Seattle Fire was already treating the teen for a gunshot wound to the torso. The teen was then rushed to Harborview. Early witness reports say he was standing on a sidewalk when shots were fired from a dark-colored sedan. But later information suggests the shooting may have happened inside a vehicle when a backseat passenger accidentally shot the driver. Detectives are still working to confirm exactly what happened. Seattle city leaders are moving to shut down streets near Aurora Avenue in response to ongoing gun violence. A city public council safety meeting approved an emergency plan just yesterday. Here's Councilmember Deborah Juarez.
I think that we do have the authority to shut down a street for bullets flying and endangering the very lives of those that live there. Actually live there, go to school there, walk their children to school there, get on the bus there, they use the transportation.
The full council is expected to vote next week. Hope for the return of the Seattle Sonics just got a little more real. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says the league is actively reviewing expansion. Silver told Dan Patrick Show this.
If we expand, at least we're thinking 28, 29 season. The only two cities at the moment we're looking at are Las Vegas and Seattle. We haven't had a vote on it. It's not a foregone conclusion, but we're in the process of talking to groups that are interested in getting an expansion team in those two cities.
So if an expansion team is awarded to Seattle for the 2028-29 season, it would mark 20 years after the city lost the Sonics to Oklahoma City. Now to your KIRO News Radio weather. Sunshine and heat is on today. The high will be about 85 in downtown Seattle. Right now, we're sitting at 69. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Gee and Ursula Show. It is Wednesday, June 24th. Gee is out again today. Look who's in. It is Mike Lewis. Good morning.
Good morning, Ursula.
Thank you for coming in. It's been too long.
Absolutely thrilled to. It's been a while.
Oh, my gosh. We are going to finally settle a bet today.
No. We are going to discuss a bet today, yes. But it's going to be settled, not in my favor, I think, in the next couple of days.
There you go. There you go. Hey, we do have a very, very full show for you, as I always like to say. But coming up at 9:30, one of the nation's largest school districts is taking all screens out of the hands of its youngest students and will be putting strict limits on everyone else. So the question I have for all of you is this a much-needed reset for kids, or is it too much and too late? Of course, we're going to have World Cup coverage today. Luke Ducey is out and about near the stadium, and I will admit that this is going to be the first time that I'm going to try to take in all the hoopla. So he's going to give, if you're like me and you're going to be going down there today, he's going to give us some much-needed advice. Our Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line is 888-973. 5476 888 KIRO. Let's get to it. Our top story is brought to you by Pendergast Law. And as I mentioned to you earlier, Mike, we are going to start with this story, and it has to do with King County's homelessness numbers. They're going up again, and this unfortunate news comes as the agency in charge is also under serious scrutiny over its own finances. So this latest point-in-time count estimates that 18,365 people are homeless in King County. That is up 9% from 2024. Of that total, they're saying that nearly 65% are unsheltered. So they're either living in their vehicles, in parks, abandoned buildings, or basically other places not meant for sleeping. The King County Regional Homelessness Authority says shelter availability has declined, and they're saying it's driven in part by the loss of family shelter beds. And this count is not the full picture, Mike, because it's a one-night estimate, and the agency itself says these point-in-time counts are widely understood to be an undercount, especially because they don't measure, everyone who experiences homelessness over an entire year. That number is supposed to be closer to 40,000 in King County. So I'm curious as to your thoughts. This is going to be the first time you and I get a chance to talk about, first of all, the agency that is in charge. This is an agency with a more than $200 million budget.
Yeah, and not a terrific reputation, right?
No.
And so for me, I think the beginning of the pathway to solve the homelessness crisis, as the city has declared it, in Seattle, is transparency on a lot of the numbers. I think transparency on the budgets that are allocated to some of the nonprofit groups. I think transparency on the city itself. I think that hopefully this number that is a higher count than I think anyone wanted to see is an actual reflection of accurate numbers, because the numbers haven't been accurate in the past. And I think once we actually look at the problem as it really is and not as we would like it to be, I think that we can start making decisions based on what's going to fix it. And I think Katie Wilson has said, adding additional tiny home villages, that is a step in the right direction. I mean, those are actual numbers. If she can get to the 1,000 to 1,100 by the end of the year that she is hoping for, I mean, that is a measurable percentage of what we are seeing out there. And so that's good. I've seen the one going in on 15th Street. I've driven past it a dozen times. I drive past two of them or ride my bicycle past two of them all the time. I mean, literally 5 or 6 times a week. I think that those are not the end solution, but they are a very good triage solution.
Yeah, temporary solutions.
Absolutely.
For sure. And what is your take on the idea of also mandating? I mean, it's one thing to get people off the street and into some kind of shelter, but also when you're dealing with drug addiction and mental illness, where do you stand on this idea that you can't just give them the shelter, you also have to address the problem?
Yeah, I'm actually, so City of San Jose, you guys, I don't know if you folks have talked about City of San Jose much. So City of San Jose did something very, very interesting. The mayor he was reelected like 80% of the popular vote. Like, it's something unheard
that's pretty
of.
astounding.
And then decided to run for governor and showed reasonably well down the ticket for a mayor, run for governor of California. He's a popular guy in the South Bay, and here is why. They decided we are going to tackle this problem, which was a Seattle grade problem in terms of homeless there, because you think Seattle's expensive, San Jose is even worse.
Yes.
That's the whole, if you don't know San Jose, it is one of the hubs of the Silicon Valley. It's incredibly expensive now. So what he did was this. You had 3, when authorities would contact you in a camp, you had 2 opportunities to make your own decision about picking up and moving along. The third one, they actually moved you into housing. So you had 2 choices where you had your own agency to make a decision. And on the third one, it's mandatory. That proved they dropped their homeless, I don't know what it was something like 12% as a result of doing this, a shocking amount. Now, there are people who argued against it, saying you're not really fixing the problem, you're moving the problem. But the fact is they're doing something. And they were not just sitting by while people were living on sidewalks and living in the streets and living in tents, in parking lots and whatnot. I think that you have to have sort of the appropriate, compassionate response. But at some point, you have to make a decision on where do you want these folks. If they can't move themselves, you're going to have. And so are you talking also about involuntary commitment for mental health and drug addiction and things like that? That's where it leads there as well. You get it remanded to drug court, and it can be mandatory. Personally, so someone once explained to me I think it was on air, it may have even been on air here, that when you're in this idea of having an argument, I was filling in on I think at KUW. One of the people on KUW said, look, I'm a former addict. The idea that you are taking away their agency does not actually explain the central point. The drugs already took away their agency.
Thank you.
And so this redundancy of taking away agency is not a critical problem. You need to do that because they will not be able to make any other decision except every day how to get a little bit more.
Yes.
How to feel better in the short term.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm in favor of it. I'm in favor of it being handled correctly and compassionately, but I am definitely in favor of something happening when you have these multiple intersections with authorities.
Well, and I want to reiterate, because King County Regional Homelessness Authority, and we have talked about it, we've gone in depth about the spending that basically was not tracked well, and that's being kind. But they have a nearly 45...
Not only not tracked well, we weren't even allowed to see it.
No, exactly.
No.
Zero transparency.
Right.
Nearly $45 million deficit now. So I will reiterate that I agree with those who are saying it's time to dismantle it. I don't have trust in it. So even looking at these numbers, I'm like, okay, how much can you trust it? Because I've lost that trust. And I believe that we cannot keep pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into the same system, getting worse results, and then pretending that the answer is just we need to give them more money. And you mentioned the word compassion. That is not compassion either. I mean, double down and triple down.
Compassion.
Exactly.
Right.
Double down and triple down on the programs that work.
Absolutely.
And if something is not working, get rid of it. Stop doing it.
And this is also to say, and I think both of us, anyone who's paid any attention to this issue understands that it is not this is not a problem that's easy to fix. You can't say, this is, here's $1 million that will have X percentage results, positive results. It's a messy, messy situation. But I do think that we're all smart enough to be aware of that. And I think that if they provided some sort of lens into what was going on, it would make it a lot easier for those of us to tolerate the messiness of the system if they were just clear about that messiness.
Absolutely. But again, for me, the ship has passed when it comes to KCRHA. Okay, let's move on because Seattle is back in World Cup mode today. And Mike, I have to admit that this is the first time that I will be heading down to the stadium area to see the excitement for myself. I know you've been saying that it's been pretty incredible.
It's been great.
And everyone who's reported to us has said the same thing. But Luke Ducey is out there already in the downtown area. And Luke, for me and anyone else who wants to be part of the fun, you got to tell us, what is the strategy involved?
Take light rail.
Okay.
That's simple.
Yeah, I shouldn't even try to find a parking garage.
You know what? Today,
me.
Let me back up. So today, for you, for a first timer going to the World Cup, this is going to be kind of World Cup good introduction day for you. Bosnia-Herzegovina is taking on small oil nation of Qatar, and I didn't see a lot of fans from either of those sides. They will be here, but this will not be packed like the U.S.-Australia game. So you might want to park far away and take light rail. That's going to be the easiest way in, but you will find lower discounted parking spots. Like I'm looking down the alley where I am right now outside the stadiums, and I'm looking at about $35, $20 on the other side of T-Mobile Stadium. So you're going to be able to park for cheaper, for sure. But if you think you're going to get close to the stadiums, you're not. You're going to have to walk. I had to walk a mile this morning. And if you think you're going to take a Lime bike or a Lime scooter in next to the stadiums, no, you're not. Because you go in there and you're scootering around, and then you go to park on the sidewalk, and someone like a cop or security is going to say, no. You cannot park that here. It's a security issue. And with those, you've got to take a photo of where you park it. So it's not going to add up with the app. So you got to park those things out of the exclusionary zone as well, which is about almost a mile radius around the stadium. So not so packed, very family friendly today. A lot of great family stories, especially from all these fans from Bosnia, of course, a war-torn nation for decades and decades ago. I talked with countless people bringing their families here after having to flee that country in the 1990s from civil war on refugee status. They have raised a family here, and now they're bringing their kids to the nation of their roots to see them play here at the stadium. A special time for a lot of people.
So where would you suggest I watch?
Ooh, any really cool bar is going to have the screens going. I did see, if you're into the bars. Now, there was one down there in Pioneer Square that their sign said tacos and tequila, and then on their board, I read it and I took a photo because I thought it was funny, and it said soup of the day, tequila. So that's one you could go to and really have a great time partying. But there are a lot of watch areas too. If I were you and you don't want to go to the stadium,
I want to check out the waterfront. I mean,
go to Pier 62. Pier 62 has got a floating field. They've got huge. It doesn't cost a lot to get in. They've got huge screens. They got a great vibe. They've got food. They've got drinks. It's going to be fantastic. I think that's what you should do.
Pier 62 is great, and I would also add Seattle Center has two viewing areas. Seattle Center at the Mural Amphitheater and in the Armory. Those both, I've been to both of those. They're fantastic. I got to say, the city, for setting up the free viewing, which is really important because World Cup tickets are expensive.
Yes, they are.
The free viewing areas have been phenomenally popular, like thousands of people going to these things. And it's fun to sit and cheer and get that sort of group vibe in a situation like this, especially because those have become mingling zones of fans from many different countries who are fans of soccer, and then sometimes in the individual teams playing. It's been great as far as my experience has been so far.
Oh, that's so awesome. And the match starts at what time, Luke?
12 noon.
Okay,
and
perfect.
those areas are great for people watching as well. You'll meet people. Maybe you'll come away with a scarf from a different country. You're going to have a fantastic time.
Okay, well, I look forward to it. Thank you so much, Luke. We'll chat with you again. Okay, well, Mike, Seattle is getting the World Cup crowds. And as you said, I mean, the city has just been shining. But not every neighborhood is feeling the World Cup payoff. And specifically, we're talking about in Little Saigon. Business owners were hoping that this tournament would bring them a real boost. And friends of Little Saigon say many shops spent years getting ready for this, fixing up their storefronts, expanding their business hours, taking part in training programs to get ready for all the visitors. But so far, the customers just haven't shown up in the numbers that they expected. And, you know, again, like the frustrating part is that this neighborhood has been doing the work. There's this new mural, there's new planter boxes, new street lights, public art banners, better trash cans, et cetera, et cetera. And I guess I remember that the International District was also complaining after another big event that people just aren't coming down. And I'm wondering, and this is to you and anyone else who is listening right now, is the International District ever going to see like any sort of revival or come back to, you know, its once glory days? Or do people just not think of it as such a special thing anymore?
You know, those are good questions. I think that the city has had it loves to celebrate the International District while ignoring it. And it's a shame, right? I mean, because the city they're always talking about the International District and how it's this sort of heart of Seattle, and yet they don't just put enough police there. I mean, it has been a very, very odd, sometimes contradictory policy the city has. We all know about the 12th and Jack. I mean, that's been discussed relentlessly. But why isn't there a watch party in Hing Hay Park? I don't know.
Actually, there is going to be a party today at the park.
Good, because that is not
the one watch party.
Right.
Yes.
One. Right. This is the type of thing where you could have front loaded it right there. Now admittedly it's not that far from Pioneer Square, and you've got another one in Pioneer Square, but why not? Like, make a reduced scale one there. I think that the city should have engaged, because it did in a whole bunch of other neighborhoods, including, you know, the Seattle Center area. I think that this would have been a perfect opportunity to do that. You certainly have a neighborhood that is loaded with soccer fans and that is ready for this event. I do hope that there are some businesses seeing a washover because they're not far from Pioneer Square, not far from the stadiums at all. And sometimes the smarter people, certainly local people, who realize, hey, I can get out of Pioneer Square and go over here, have a great food and hang out and have a good time. There's lots of good places in the International District. I'm hoping that they are getting at least a bump from this. But it's a shame that people are saying that they feel sort of left out of the process.
Well, and I was thinking, because I am a big fan of the Chinatown International District, but if I'm to be honest, it's been a minute since I've been there. And it's not because I don't still enjoy Asian food or Asian culture, but what is it that's kind of keeping me from visiting this neighborhood that I would frequent more often?
I think that what's keeping you is probably habit more than anything else, because it's not, I'm down there, and I'm not exaggerating here, once a week. I mean, nice. I made it a point during the pandemic when people were ignoring the neighborhood. I reversed what I was doing and made sure I went there more often.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of places that I like down there, including maybe, you know, and I'm a bar owner, but maybe my favorite bar in Seattle. Like, I think that the neighborhood. You
can drop a name.
Sure. Fort St. George.
Okay.
Weirdest. I don't know if Chef has been there, but it is.
No, I haven't. Never even heard of it.
Right. You've been, and you both have walked past it probably 100 times. It's a second story. It is. They specialize in Japanese comfort food. And Japanese comfort food is this hybridized. So when we were sorry to get off a little aside here, when we were helping to rebuild Japan after World War II, whole bunch of military was there, a whole bunch of Midwestern military. It is this creation that's sort of like Midwestern casserole meets Japanese food. They also do regular Japanese food, but this subset of Japanese comfort food is fantastic. And also, it's just a weird upstairs bar. You feel like you went. I love the place, and hopefully they'll get some, and they do pretty well business wise.
Okay, well, which is good, because too many other businesses are saying we're seeing a drop. We were hoping that we would get this big thing, and I did notice that Sound Transit, apparently one of the things that they did to help with crowd control measures is that they steered fans away from the packed Chinatown International District station and are using Pioneer Square instead, which again, it's like, oh, ouch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So if you can, visit the International District, Chinatown, because they can certainly use the business. Okay, still ahead. One very large school district is passing very strict new screen time rules for students. And is this something that we should all be doing? We'll have more on that next on the Gee and Ursula Show with Mike Lewis.
Ooh, it is hot outside.
Western Washington is under a heat advisory.
So yeah, stay hydrated and stay with KIRO News Radio for updates on our record heat wave.
If we get to 90, it'll be the second time this June that we've done that.
Together with KIRO 7 Pinpoint Weather.
It's going to be interesting here for the next couple of days.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
In the Northwest 20 years ago, 90 was, forget about it.
The KIRO News Radio app and your smart speaker.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started bagging up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
$83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise. There's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
You know, I used to think all money managers were the same until I spoke with Fisher Investments.
Really? How different are they?
Fisher's investment counselors are dedicated to service, not sales, keeping clients up to date on their portfolio.
Well, they probably just invest in a bunch of mutual funds like I do.
Nope. They build a tailored portfolio based on their clients' personal goals, helping them stay on track for a comfortable retirement.
Well, they must make commissions selling products.
Actually, Fisher doesn't sell any commission-based products. They're a fiduciary, and they believe that's a conflict.
Then they have some kind of complex fee structure.
Nope. Fisher has a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of their client's portfolio. So they do better when their clients do better.
It sounds like Fisher really is different.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Fisher Investments, clearly different wealth management. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Puyallup Tribe's Firecracker Alley is now open. 3509 72nd Street East in Tacoma. Stock up now for the 4th at Puyallup Tribe's Firecracker Alley. Open now through July 4th. With over 100 fireworks stands and a variety of food and beverage options, you're sure to get your 4th of July off to a great start at Firecracker Alley. Don't miss the free fireworks show on June 30th. Learn more at PuyallupTribe-NSN.gov. That's PuyallupTribe-NSN.gov.
Looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get the same breakthrough one-day treatment I received at Advanced Hair during their once-yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during their best offer of the year. For details and a free consultation, call 425-449-8185, advancedhair.com.
Guys, it's Men's Health Month at Revive Seattle. Get a free comprehensive wellness panel. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Valued at $400. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-572-3344. That's 800-572-3344.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know you can't cook. You're not one of those people who say that they can, but when people come over for dinner, they find out the hard way, you can't. You can't even microwave popcorn, and that's literally just one button. Plus, measuring and patience are huge parts of cooking, and that's just not you. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. President Trump says he will no longer sign a bipartisan bill, or rather piece of legislation, that would have reformed the housing market. The bill aims to promote new home construction and bars private equity firms from buying homes. All but 5 senators voted in favor of the bill, but now the president says he won't sign it until the Save America Act is passed. That's the bill that would require proof of citizenship to vote. More from ABC's Karen Travers.
There was great fanfare expected today for this signing, but the president now has a choice. Does he veto this legislation, or does he do nothing and just not sign it? And that's important there. One, it passed with veto-proof majority, so if he does veto it, Congress could take it up again and pass it again. Or if he doesn't sign it, they have then 10 days where then nothing happens and it would become law.
We're less than 3 hours until kickoff, and Seattle Stadium has opened its gates to fans. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more.
Bosnia-Herzegovina takes on Qatar today. Kickoff at noon at Seattle Stadium. More of a family vibe here for match day 3 in Seattle, the World Cup. But for many Bosnians, like Elvedin, a very important match.
I mean, it's huge. It's huge. Football out there is more than just soccer.
Surviving civil war, coming to the United States, and now rooting for their team here in the Emerald City. They've already won. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Sound Transit says World Cup fever and a sold-out Mariners game helped shatter light rail ridership records last Friday. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has details.
Sound Transit says preliminary numbers show about 280,000 Link Light Rail boardings leading up to, during, and after the big match between the USA and Australia, smashing the previous record of 220,000 from the Seahawks Super Bowl parade. Henry Benden is with Sound Transit.
Really what it means is that the investment we are making as a region in the light rail is absolutely paying off both for our residents and our visitors.
Benden says Sound Transit is preparing for even more big crowds as World Cup matches continue. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle also set a new record for shared bike and scooter rides. The city says more than 83,000 trips were taken last Friday, the highest single-day total. The increase came as people headed to the USA-Australia World Match, a Mariners game, and Juneteenth celebrations. The previous record was set earlier this year with about 60,000 trips during the Seahawks Super Bowl parade. More people are homeless in King County than 2 years ago. The latest point-in-time count shows a 9% jump since 2024. That's according to the King County Regional Homelessness Authority, which released the numbers yesterday. Right now, an estimated 18,365 people are homeless across the region, and nearly 2/3 of them are living outside in places like tents or cars. Now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Seattle Sports. Traffic remains smooth, 35 minutes from Everett to Seattle. That's 25 minutes faster than usual. Everett to Bellevue is less. It's about 50 minutes right now, and I only see a few brake lights south of Canyon Park. The lake bridges are clear. Northbound I-5 is moving very slow past the West Seattle Bridge. It'll take you about 50 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial 97.3 HD2. For your forecast, record heat continues today. Highs will be around 85. Right now, it's about 60 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today. He will be back tomorrow. Mike Lewis is in. And coming up at 9:47, we are going to do this week's edition of Ask Ursula. And we will be asking all of you to weigh in on a situation that was posed to me on my column that you can find on mynorthwest.com. But right now we're going to be talking about screen time because, Mike, you know that our state is moving toward a school cell phone ban in schools. This is something that has been pushed by the state school superintendent, but is something that got implemented in the Seattle school district. But there are some districts around the country that are going even further with this. And we're talking about, in particular, Los Angeles, which is the second largest school district in this country. And they are now saying no screen time at all for students until they reach second grade. And then after that, elementary students would be limited to 1 hour a day. Middle schoolers would get up to 6 hours a week, and then high schoolers 10. And this would even include homework. So they're really going full bore on this.
Yeah, they want to be sort of the leader nationally.
Yes,
this sort of
even
work.
globally, they're saying.
Right. So what do you think?
Well, I am of the belief that, yes, I think the screen time and the dependency on phones in particular, but just whether it's tablets, phones, computer screens, it's just too much. I think that it has become such a distraction. However, I also think that it is a tool. So on the one hand, I think that you can work on making it more age appropriate and more, where they don't have access to it at all times of the day.
Right.
But can you go all the way backwards and say we're really going to try to? I mean, you could do that in the schools.
Right.
But it's going to be very different.
It's very difficult. Right.
Right.
I mean, it seems like the LA Unified School District, while I applaud taking such a hard stance on something that does have problems within it,
yes,
they're sort of running out in front of what science is saying. Science says that that the screen time does matter, but really what matters in terms of outcomes from academic to social anxiety to other stuff like that is what they're doing on screen. Way more than the amount of time that they spend. If they spend time, which they refer to as like co-viewing with their parents or with somebody else in their family, those generally tend to be very positive outcomes. And educational stuff tends to be very positive outcomes from a screen time standpoint. If they are hanging out alone, and particularly in the evening on social media, that has, and the science isn't really even all that ambiguous about it, that has a negative effect on a lot of kids. So what they're doing is, I mean, I'm not saying they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? But in this particular case, an outright ban does not reflect what the data shows, a much more nuanced situation than this ban does. Now, what are they going to do if they do a ban? I mean, they can't mandate that parents spend more time with their kids. And they're LA Unified, like every school district, is dealing with a lot of single parents.
Right.
They're dealing with a lot of people who are working tons of hours just to afford living in that town. How do you give them policed screen time is another matter entirely, right?
Well,
and so and that's why you do a ban.
Right. And what I like is at least they're trying to do something with the amount of time that they have control of the students within their purview. Good. And one of the things that they're saying is the screens are replacing a lot of face-to-face instruction. I mean, think about handwriting these days. my handwriting
Does
is
it
bad.
even exist?
Does it even exist? Exactly. When it comes to focus, I think that's a big issue too, where people are so distractible. But I actually applaud, of all districts, LA for trying to lead the charge on this.
Sure.
And I am also a big proponent of what the Seattle School District is doing in terms of cell phones. Cell phones specifically.
So here's an interesting thing about what Seattle is doing, and I think that people should be paying attention to this as it rolls out. There's been one, the sort of the state-of-the-art study was done by Stanford. It came out this year in 2026 with the Yonder pouch, and how the Yonder pouch, that's the pouch you put your phone in. You don't have access to your phone during the school day. Some schools will allow it at lunch, some don't, and then you get your phone back at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
First 2 years, every measurable from social anxiety to cyberbullying to academics get worse. All the numbers get worse. Third year is when you start seeing the turn. It's very, very, so I think that they are going, and it makes some sense because now they're being deprived, what they would see as an organ of their body. It's being amputated. It's being amputated.
Yes.
And they
it's
stress
too dramatic.
out.
Yeah.
And they stress out and they act out in all kinds of ways, but they're finding that if you can just ride through that. Now, this is broadly speaking a study. I'm sure there's exceptions.
Sure.
If you can ride through that. And so this is going to be like, they're going to have the courage to have worse numbers for a period of time. Like cops can tell you about this. Like sometimes they change things for the better, but the initial outcome is not the numbers that you want, but it will be over the long tail. This one is going to exactly be, well, not exactly. It's likely to be this. And I think that the school districts really and the schools in Washington State as a whole are going to have to, hold their position and see what happens over the longer haul.
Really interesting.
I think this makes a lot of sense to me as a parent, because I can tell you that it seems to me that schools have decided to opt out of teaching entirely and leave that to programs and the screens. And Mike, when you and I were in school, the most we had to distract ourselves with was, taking apart the ballpoint pen, 15 different ways. I found out this weekend with my son that he's an expert at the no internet game. That Google has. And if you have a device in front of a kid, they are going to find a way to be distracted by it no matter what.
Yes.
So why make that the primary vehicle for teaching and learning?
But Megan in Des Moines points out, so she says, I am stuck between limiting screens and also giving into the reality that we live in a screen tablet world. I now give written in-class quizzes in college, and the amount of anxiety it gives my students is appalling.
Right.
Years ago when I was I'm riding somewhere with my buddy in his SUV. I'm in the Bay Area. His girls at that time were quite young. They're older now. And they're making a ton of noise in the backseat. And there's something kind of important that he wanted to talk to me about. So he flicks on the screen in the back seat, in the back of the SUV, and they put on their headphones and it just goes silent. And we're sitting there in silence for a while. And he looks at me, he goes, I know it's wrong, but it feels so right.
Oh, that's great. Okay, coming up at 9:47, I want y'all to weigh in on this Ask Ursula question from a loving grandparent who is offering childcare to a 3-year-old who has started having tantrums. Okay, so we're going to go back. For me, it's going to be going back some years, and I was giving my advice on this. But I'd love for you guys to listen in and weigh in as well. We'll have more of that on the Gee and Ursula Show coming up next.
Ooh, it is hot outside.
Western Washington is under a heat advisory.
So yeah, stay hydrated and stay with KIRO Newsradio for updates on our record heat wave.
If we get to 90, it'd be the second time this June that we've done that.
Together with KIRO 7 Pinpoint Weather.
It's going to be interesting here for the next couple of days.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
In the Northwest 20 years ago, 90 was unforget about it.
The KIRO Newsradio app and your smart speaker.
RV buyers save thousands at the 10th Annual Summer RV Blowout Sale, June 18th through the 28th at the Evergreen State Fairgrounds. Top manufacturers with every floor plan imaginable, exclusive dealer rebates, huge discounts on new and used models, factory reps on site, enjoy free lunch, plus a year's worth of free camping. The 10th Annual Summer RV Blowout Sale, June 18th through the 28th at the Evergreen State Fairgrounds in Monroe, hosted by Open Road RV, free parking and admission.
When the heat's an 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
DayandNight.net. Stay cool this summer with a new AC or heat pump from Day and Night. And with installation, you'll get a free furnace.
Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Call us about installing a high-efficiency cooling system or servicing your existing one so you're cool when you need it.
Get a new AC or heat pump now from Day and Night to stay cool this summer. Plus, with installation, you'll get a free furnace.
DayandNight.net.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Always exhausted, loud snoring, keeping your partner awake? You could have sleep apnea and not even know it. South Seattle Smiles has a comfortable solution with no CPAP required. Most medical insurance accepted. Call 206-241-5533 today. SouthSeattleSmiles.com.
John Curley here. Who installs your new cooling system matters. I recommend Home Comfort Alliance for 50 years of award-winning service and top quality Carrier products that deliver years of comfort. Save up to $3,000 in rebates. Visit HomecomfortAlliance.com.
Hi, how can I help? Well, my husband and I feel like we've outgrown our current money manager. I see. Our lives have changed, and we need something more than just mutual funds to help us in retirement.
She's right.
I hear that often. At Fisher Investments, we'd start by getting to know you, your finances, family, health, lifestyle. We tailor a portfolio around your goals and needs.
Sounds good.
Can you help with estate planning? Yes. We have a team of specialists who can help you with estate planning, Social Security, investment income, and more. We'll get to know your whole financial picture and help keep you on the path to a comfortable retirement.
And your fees?
We have a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better. I feel better already. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Are you thinking about getting a new TV this week at prime prices? Maybe a Samsung, LG, or a Sony? Before you click, you should check out Video Only, because they've got below prime deals. That's right, top-rated TVs at better than online prices. Curbside pickup or home delivery are available. Don't click before you call Video Only, because if you do, you'll be sorry.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today. Mike Lewis is in. And in case you haven't heard yet, I have been doing an advice column on mynorthwest.com. It's called Ask Ursula. And listeners have been sending me their dilemmas, their joys, anything that they have a question about, and they want someone to listen and weigh in, and I give them my undivided attention. So I wanted to share this one with all of you and have you weigh in. So this listener says, Dear Ursula, my husband and I have a grandson who is nearly 3. We live about a mile away. We've been very involved in his life since he was born. And for quite a while now, we've been watching him at our house for up to 6 hours a day, sometimes even 5 days a week. Our daughter does work from home, but she needs that uninterrupted time. Our son-in-law is now home after serving overseas for a while. And so we are really happy to help. But here's the problem. Until recently, our grandson was always happy to come to Grandma and Papa's house. But now when it's time to leave, he cries and he's desperate. And he says, I want to stay home with Mama. He's too young to explain why he doesn't want to come over. It's making everyone uncomfortable, though. And no one wants to feel like we're forcing him to stay with us. And he also knows now that if he leaves home with me, or if a parent brings him to our house, he's going to be gone for several hours. And last week, he had this complete meltdown when our daughter dropped him off, and I had to hold him while he cried for 45 minutes, and then he finally fell asleep for 2 hours. None of us wants a repeat of that. My husband and I did go to their house one day. We played with him over there, but we can't do that every day. So when he is at our house, I can still get things done, and he even helps me with little things like watering the plants, and that doesn't work at their house. So my question is, how do we convince an almost 3-year-old to go somewhere when he doesn't want to go? We refuse to bribe him or lie to him, but we also need something that works for everybody. Signed, Grandma.
Ask Mike.
Yeah, so, hey, Mike.
So I'll take a shot at this one first. I think the only answer here is radically increase his screen time.
Beautiful.
I knew you were going to go that route.
Thank you. You're welcome for the answer, folks.
Disney all day? All right.
All day.
That's not the answer I gave. Okay. Anything else you want to try, or should I move on to Chef?
That's my shot. Okay. Why don't the people with actual experience in this regard answer this
that's
question?
So funny. Okay, Chef.
First of all, 3-year-olds don't get to decide anything, generally speaking. Like, you can give them false choices, like, would you like to go now or in 1 minute? That is the type of choice you give a 3-year-old. And while it is disturbing to have to deal with a 45-minute tantrum, this must be a first for you, or you're forgetting what your kids were like, because the kids will tantrum for 45 minutes until they realize that the reality that they are in is not going to change. And for some reason, you have given the impression to this child that they have a choice. The child does not have a choice. Like, just because mom's working at home doesn't change the fact that she's working. And there's no, maybe we go over there, maybe. No, just deal with it. Like, I'm sorry, you're going to have to deal with a very difficult period of transition.
Yes.
And if you're completely opposed to the idea of bribing a child, well, how about introducing this as a reward? You can reward the child for behavior that you see as positive.
There you go.
It doesn't have to be bribery, like we're getting you to do something so that you decide. Stop it with the whole, how can we get him to agree to this?
Okay, but you have a little more compassion in your voice, Chef.
Would I?
Okay, you're too in the thick of all of this. Okay, this is what I told Grandma.
Okay,
yeah,
please,
this is
please.
So,
You're right,
I said,
I am.
First of all,
yes.
I want to
It
point
sounded
out.
to me like a little bit of PTSD there.
Yes.
He's in the thick of it.
I'm
He's in the
very
thick
much
of
in
it.
the thick of
He's
it.
right in the middle of it right now.
So what I wanted to reassure Grandma is that, first of all, know that what you and your husband are doing is truly a gift. Watching your grandson several hours a day, several days a week, you've got to admit, Chef, that is a big deal.
It is
enormous.
The fact that she is not apparently paying.
No.
This is like a lifetime gift.
That is a lifetime gift, and I just want to say that as someone who was the recipient of such a gift. So it's not only helpful to the parents, but remember this, your grandson time, even though right now he might be melting down a little bit, that is special time with grandparents who love him to pieces, and that is you can't put a price tag on that. So first of all, that's the first thing. But him having a meltdown is typical 3-year-old behavior. It doesn't mean he doesn't love you. You know that. It also doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's because his routine has changed, and he's also seeing that when he has a meltdown, he's going to get what he wants, basically. So this arrangement really cannot work if you and your husband are expected to go to their house. That's not sustainable. So you need to sit down with your daughter and son-in-law and come up with a plan. Maybe it's one day a week at their house, and then the rest are at yours initially. Or he can bring a special blanket or a toy or a book from home. Or, and you don't have to go into bribing or lying. You're right about that. But you also have to make sure that you don't let his crying run the whole household. And that's essentially your message.
Amen.
It's basically, you can say, I love you. You're going to grandma and grandpa's, and your kid is going to have a meltdown, but they're going to get over it. And eventually they're going to learn that he can miss mama and still have a perfectly good day with people who love him so much.
I prescribe 10 minutes of Bluey when the child arrives. Problem solved.
There you go.
Screen time.
Or screen time. Okay. Well, if you have a dilemma and you want me to give you my undivided attention and my best shot at some advice, hit me up. Ask Ursula at mynorthwest.com, or you can also text Ask Ursula on our text line. Okay, more of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Hartley Wilcox here. I'm sure you've heard the saying, you are what you eat. And everyone knows eggs are an incredible source of natural protein and omega-3. But have you ever stopped to think about what the hens eat to make the eggs great tasting and even healthier to eat? At Wilcox Farms, we believe in nature-first nutrition. Our hens enjoy pasture access and a diet of organic grains and flaxseed. That means vibrant golden yolks, richer flavor, and higher omega-3s for you and your family. When you choose Wilcox, you're not just buying eggs, you're investing in real nutrition and real value. Because healthy hens make healthy eggs, and healthy eggs make healthy, happy families. So next time you're at the store, look for Wilcox Family Farms eggs. Taste the difference that starts with what our hens eat. Learn more at wilcoxfarms.com. Wilcox Farms, where better eggs begin with better care. Wilcox Family Farms eggs, locally fresh since 1909.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Canceled by President Trump, him signing bipartisan affordable housing legislation. The president, on his Truth Social page, said he'll sign it only if Congress passes the Save America Act. Trump says compared to the election-related bill, the housing measure is of minor importance. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he anticipates the housing bill will be signed in the next 10 days. Intense public criticism and mounting lawsuits have pushed a Houston summer camp to file for bankruptcy protection. ABC's Jim Ryan.
Camp Mystic had been in operation for nearly a century when severe flash flooding last year took the lives of 25 children, 2 counselors, and Dick Eastland, the co-owner of the facility.
A life-threatening heat wave is smothering much of Western and Southern Europe. As part of a federal bribery case, sources familiar with it tell ABC News the former chief of staff to ex-New York Mayor Eric Adams, Frank Carone, his brother, and 2 others were arrested today. This is ABC News. Public schools in Los Angeles, the nation's second-largest school district, have now adopted one of the strictest policies restricting screen time in class. The policy passed by the Board of Education will ban screen use before second grade and limit screen time for older students. Utah and Alabama have passed laws aimed at limiting screen use in class. Mice are getting smarter. Researchers say the rodents are learning how to resist traditional pesticide treatments. ABC's Elizabeth Worthington.
A recent Rutgers University study found that mice are genetically evolving to become resistant to the poisons designed to kill them, also called rodenticides. The researchers looked at samples from New York City, Washington, D.C., New Jersey, and Philadelphia and its surrounding suburbs.
A recent study showed that 70% of mice sampled were mutating. 3 years after filing for bankruptcy, Bed Bath & Beyond is making a comeback, and the chain says it will still honor its old coupons. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
We're just 2 hours from kickoff at Seattle Stadium, but first, KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Northbound I-5 is moving very slow past the West Seattle Bridge. It'll take you about 50 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. Lake bridges are clear. Some drive times right now. It's still 35 minutes from Everett to Seattle. That's 25 minutes faster than normal. Everett to Bellevue is less than an hour, and I only see a few brake lights south of Canyon Park. Right now, Lake Washington Windows and Doors is giving the first 40 June signups with 5 or more windows a free patio door plus 12-month free financing. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Excited fans from all over the region and the world are making their way to Pioneer Square for today's World Cup match. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery joins us live as Bosnia and Herzegovina fans make their way from the waterfront to the stadium. Jillian.
It's a river of blue and gold as fans stream their way. They've come from all over the country, including, come on guys, cheer it up. This family from Kentucky, Shayla, Mira, and Raza are with me. Are you excited?
We're extremely excited to actually be at the World Cup.
Second time that here at the World Cup, right?
First time. Oh, for Bosnia, second.
Yeah,
yes.
second time.
For us first.
You gonna win?
Yes, of course. Of course we are.
Thank you. Have fun. I'll see you in there. Everyone's so excited. You can probably see that hear that there's music, there are flags, there are people dancing, and really there's no regard for sidewalks, bike lanes, or roads right now here in Pioneer Square. People are just walking wherever there's availability. It is a party atmosphere. I know some people who I found on Lime bikes coming to the stadium already started drinking at watch pre-parties starting at 9 a.m. It is a festive atmosphere, and everyone's going to have a great time for Bosnia's second appearance in World Cup games. Reporting live from Pioneer Square, Jillian Raftery for KIRO Newsradio.
Thank you, Jillian. The U.S. is easing its restrictions on Iran's World Cup team, allowing the squad to travel into the country today, just 2 days before its next match.
The team will still be required to leave after Friday's match here in Seattle, according to the Department of Homeland Security. The team's base camp is in Tijuana, Mexico. Iran's squad had complained about the travel restrictions levied on the team and the challenges the team has faced since the outbreak of the war. For the first two matches in Los Angeles, the team was not allowed to travel until the day before. The team's base camp was relocated from Tucson, Arizona to Mexico. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle police are investigating a late-night shooting on Aurora Avenue that left a 15-year-old boy seriously injured. Officers were called around 10:45 last night near North 93rd Street and Aurora Avenue North. Police say the teen suffered a gunshot wound to the torso and was taken to Harborview in serious condition. Initial reports say someone in a dark-colored sedan fired multiple shots before speeding off. Detectives with the Gun Violence Reduction Unit are now working to determine exactly what led up to the shooting. And after weeks of complaints and community action, Seattle leaders are taking steps to address gun violence along Aurora Avenue. City Council committee approved a plan yesterday allowing police to close streets in areas impacted by gunfire, drugs, and prostitution.
I think it's just unfortunate, and I'm just going to be straightforward about this. They had to get to this point to have legislation to make an emergency to do what the mayor's office could always have done.
The full City Council vote is expected next week. Now to your KIRO News Radio weather. Temperatures today will be in the upper 70s to mid 80s. Right now, it's about 73 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out again today. It is another World Cup match day, and so he is going to be emceeing. He will be back tomorrow, so he's going to be sharing his stories tomorrow. But Mike Lewis is in for Gee today, and it's been fun. Great first hour.
Fantastic first hour. Always a pleasure to be here.
So coming up at 10:30, why are Washington's rich leaving? And I thought we were going to be talking about, when are we going to be talking about our bet? When is that coming up? That's
I'm
in
sure
the 11
I'm
o'clock.
sure you're not
She's
going
itching.
to forget. It's been on the calendar for a bit.
I was going to say, yeah, Mike and I made a bet. I would say it was a couple of years ago.
At least, yeah.
And you were so confident I was going to be wrong.
I was not only confident, I then ramped up the terms, and and now I'm paying for it.
And you're going to need
Soon
to pay.
paying for it.
Yeah, you're going to need to pay because I want to make sure that we can take advantage of that bet before something happens to this lovely restaurant.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Right? Exactly. Okay, so we'll explain that coming up in the 11 o'clock hour, it looks like. But right now, we invite you to join us on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. A lot of you, thank you so much. A lot of you are weighing in on the Ask Ursula situation, and a lot of you had great advice. So we'll share some of that. Our text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO.
What's new at 10?
So I want want to take advantage of the fact that Mike Lewis is a bar owner, and we're talking about the business environment in Seattle because we keep hearing about how bad it is for restaurants and bars and small business owners. And one of the reasons we're bringing this up right now is one of the city's best-known restaurants is closed because the staff went on strike. We're talking about the Walrus and the Carpenter. It's a restaurant in Ballard, and they shut down on Monday and stayed closed Tuesday, according to the Seattle Times. And reasons for the strike are part of some bigger dispute between the staff and Renee Erickson's Sea Creatures restaurant group. But the union is basically saying workers are trying to get a fair first contract and better compensation. The management group is saying the economics of running an independent restaurant in Seattle are getting harder each year. I want to just listen to you and you tell me, like, as a restaurant owner, what are the burdens that you have to overcome, first of all, and then speak to this situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors, some of which the city has a bit of influence on and some of which it doesn't. The stuff that it has an influence on are the various taxes that you have to pay and minimum wage. The minimum wage is something that the state and the city have complete control over. And those sort of things, and everyone knows who's in business knows that your big expenses tend to be your employees, right? In a variety of ways, either their wages or the wages and their benefits, if you offer benefits, which we do. But the benefits component itself is enormously expensive and has gone up much faster than the wages have. The wages have gone up, and to say it's not a pain point is crazy because it's a pain point. I mean, everyone I know in the business is struggling with this because that $1, $2 an hour, you amortize that over multiple employees and a year, and it is tens of thousands of dollars additional that you could be paying one person. And so that is not insignificant, especially because what you as an owner get is kind of what's left over. And even though staff have some window into gross revenue, they frequently have zero window into the expenses. And that is where you get sort of them feeling like, wow, they must be rolling in it. Look, we had a X $1,000 day. And yet they don't know actually. And I don't know how you do the best you can to communicate that. You try and make your savings where you can. But then there are things that are completely outside the city's control. I mean, the cost of living in Seattle is enormous. The cost of leasing and renting is enormous. So here's a weird thing. I think the city sometimes doesn't consider, like we have a housing crisis in Seattle and in Washington State. Everyone knows this. In insufficient numbers of houses. It's also a problem
and permitting, which is something that was brought up yesterday when we had former City Council President Sarah Nelson come in. I mean, the regulations to get more housing are ridiculous.
Yeah, and so they're trying to streamline those. But here's the other thing that happens when you want density is you raise height restrictions. Again, sounds like a good thing, and it makes some sense, and a lot of cities do that. What happens, though, when you raise height restrictions is you suddenly have you made a property move from valuable to generationally valuable, and people sell. And when they sell and when the new developer comes in, that per square foot can triple or quadruple. And suddenly that space that you had that was affordable is no longer affordable, and you're moving if you're lucky, and you're closing, which is much more likely. And so when a city does that, they set off, when it raises the height restrictions, and people may not realize this, it tips the first domino in a long series of things that essentially front loads new first floor retail is much more chain focused than new business focused. Now, if the city wanted to come in and find some way to give someone, a longer runway on the first 3 years on a new lease and mandate that, I mean, developers would not be happy with that because they want to make their money back justifiably. But that's about the only thing like that. That effect itself is enormous, and it doesn't get talked about enough.
This is the first time I've actually heard height or lack of height restrictions being something that plays into it, and it makes sense.
It told him new first floor retail in Seattle, if you're in a neighborhood like Queen Anne or Capitol Hill or Belltown, is so expensive right now that you better have a substantial income stream before you even decide to put your toe in that pool.
So when a group like this management group for Walrus and the Carpenter, and this is not the first time we've heard it, when they say running a restaurant, an independent restaurant in Seattle is getting harder. and it wasn't specified, but so often we talk about B&O tax and all these additional taxes, jumpstart tax, whatever tax. And you're saying, that's a part of it, but a lot of it is the minimum wage.
The minimum wage and other expenses. I mean, I'm not front loading it on minimum wage. I've been a supporter of raising the minimum wage, but I see the numbers every single time, and I know how painful it can be. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing, like for example, the B&O tax break that former mayor Bruce Harrell provided is, I mean, if that is what you're pivoting on, that extra $300 a year, you're not in business. I mean, that kind of stuff is drop in the bucket. Does it help? Sure. Yeah, great. I'd love to have pocket additional $300, but really those sort of things are rearranging the deck chairs. They are not absolutely making any real difference in your ability to afford space in Seattle.
So when we're talking, sorry, I don't mean to step on you, but when we're talking about things like we keep saying, well, we're losing it to Bellevue, what are we talking about?
So those are bigger businesses. You're not losing the small independent restaurants to Bellevue. We're talking about businesses like Amazon relocating the people who are getting 20,000 feet or 60,000 or 100,000 feet. They're in a different category anyway. That's not the small independent businesses doing that.
So a friend of mine who owns a restaurant who just texted in, and she's a regular texter who said the things that are hurting the most are minimum wage, people not coming to work, taxes, and cost of food.
Yeah, cost of food, that's another thing. Your expenses, what you're paying now for us, let's just say it's your microbrew beer, or you're paying for your food, whomever you're getting from Charlie's Produce to Cisco to other suppliers, you're getting all of those things have gone up enormously in a way that is hard to, especially if you're a place like us that tries to operate on the trying to be cheaper in the neighborhood than what's around us, it's become very difficult to maintain that. I mean, a pint of beer in the last 4 years in most places has gone up like 40%. That's the reality, and that is just to keep even with additional expenses. That's not making more money.
Are you increasing your prices in kind to make up for that?
We've increased
because I know that my friend tells me it's really hard to increase prices because then that drives people away too.
So we're also, I gotta say, I'd rather be lucky than smart, and I would put us in the lucky category. We are in a location that's very near Seattle Center.
Yes.
So we actually benefit from this World Cup stuff that a lot of people are not benefiting from. Those watch parties, which are free until you wander into the beer garden or into one of the food kiosks. The watch parties, which are free. When people leave that, some of them hang out in the neighborhood, and we get the benefit of that. Yeah. We're not a big place, and so another 20 people walking in is actually measurable, and it's great for us. So we are not in a place that we have not had to. We didn't get hit as hard by pre-return to work as other people did, because there are people in downtown and Belltown who really suffered when people weren't in downtown. We've always met, because we're sort of tucked into the neighborhood as well as that, and so we still get the regulars who walk up regardless of, and maybe they're supposed to be.
Well, I think you're also probably doing something right, because you do have the regulars who you can always count on.
And we also have very good Wi-Fi, so just on the outside chance they're doing their work at our park, we are not dropping dime on anyone.
Okay, I have to say though that management. So in the Seattle Times, the story was saying that the workers at the Wallace and the Carpenter averaged about $49 an hour for servers, $39 for cooks, and then $33 for dishwashers last year. Okay, and I look at that because that's even higher than I thought.
I would be curious what the breakdown is on that, because I don't know if that 49 is probably not their base wage. That's their base wage with that autograt added in. Would that be correct?
Yes,
in your understanding, correct. So that is that is something that they are mandating that on their bill. So they're front loading some of that additional wage, actually onto the customers, which again, in a weird, everyone does. I mean, Target is front loading, that they sell products to pay wages, right, as well. So everyone does that to some degree, but that new systems, and there's systems that I like and systems that I don't like, of auto gratuity that is actually paying a portion of that wage that you're reading from them.
And you made a point to say that you were in favor of increasing the minimum wage as someone who also is now having to pay the minimum wage.
Initially, I mean, we're starting to feel the pain of it too, and I'm certainly hoping we can list let it alone for a bit. Like, let it alone for a bit and let everything else, let us catch up, because we have so many more expenses other than that, and including that is making it very, very difficult. And to the texter's point, absolutely. The cost of even just supplying your business is very expensive. Now, not to mention business insurance, which is enormously expensive.
Yeah, B.N. Puyallup is saying, food costs. He manages a kitchen. Food costs are through the roof, is what he's saying. Okay, what does the AI boom look like from the other side of the paycheck? The Seattle Times, again, is reporting that Oracle has now laid off more than 700 workers in the Seattle area since last year. Globally, the company has cut 21,000 jobs. And unlike some tech companies, Oracle is saying the quiet part out loud. The company says the adoption of AI has already led to workforce reductions and may continue to do so. Now, Oracle is not necessarily an outlier, but they're just very forthcoming about it. Meta has also cut nearly 1,400 jobs in Washington, and it's reshaping itself around AI.
Do you remember? Did you guys follow the GeekWire story on that? When the day they're cutting 1,400 jobs, the giant yacht floats into town. Yeah. That's kind of like, I'm not sure he cares about the optics. Certainly with the Meta glasses.
I'm not even sure he's aware of the optics.
Maybe when you're wearing the Meta glasses, those optics don't actually exist. But
I know, that was like, ouch.
I was just like, wow.
Yeah. No, and then there were people when we kind of brought it up and complained about it.
The boat's still here, by the way, out on the San Juan.
Yeah, but people were like, "Oh, you just hate rich people." No, it's just, can you try to read the room a little bit?
When you're getting weepy, laying off thousands of people in a prior video while wearing the $1 million watch you just $1 million. I'm not exaggerating. $1 million watch you just acquired. It just seems like maybe your sensitivity to that is performative.
I don't know. Yeah, there you go. But here's my question. Because not every company is saying AI directly replaced those workers, but the pattern is getting harder and harder to ignore. So is AI now the new scapegoat?
Yeah, sure it is. I mean, companies companies use a lot of things to justify attrition, because it's now this is more expensive attrition when they're doing AI and then doing layoffs. Layoff is a much more expensive way to get rid of an employee than having that employee quit. The return to work thing was much about attrition and getting people to quit. The AI thing is less about that, but it's giving an excuse, and they always get a stock jump, whenever they do a layoff. But I think jobs are the person who's in charge of Amazon Web Services right now is a very optimistic person who says that, look, we are losing jobs here, but we're gaining them in other areas. So he said this is more of a job transition shift than it is a job loss shift. On the other hand, they've net lost 30,000 jobs, so I don't know what he's referring to, but AI is going to lead to some new jobs, zero question. Is it going to be the same as what they're losing? I mean, I guess we'll find out down the road, but I do think I think AI has become this convenient excuse. We were talking, off air about how Starbucks fired the head of the Republic of Korea, Starbucks, because of a terrible, you can read it on your own, I'm not going to get the details, a terrible public relations campaign and a copy campaign. And essentially they said, blame AI, which has become sort of, I got hacked, right? Remember the I got hacked? Everyone was, Ted Cruz said he got hacked when his social
something
media.
Something embarrassing happens, you're like, oh,
is social media liked like a porn star or something like that? It was my staff, I got hacked, wide stance. Yeah. There's a lot of these crazy excuses, and now we're getting AI as the catch-all excuse, dog ate my homework sort of thing.
Yeah, I think you're right, and you just have to remember, it's what you put into AI is what comes back. So ultimately, It's your problem still. Okay, let's squeeze one more in, because the Maltby Cafe is getting a new home, and if you have not ever been there, they're known for these ridiculously, incredibly huge cinnamon rolls.
Yes.
Have you had one? Have you been there?
I have not had. I've seen pictures.
But I've seen the pictures. Me too. I've seen the pictures, and I can't say I've been there. But the cafe has been in the old Maltby Schoolhouse building for decades, and this is part restaurant, part landmark, part time capsule. You get the picture, right? It's a beautiful old building. But luxury townhomes are now going up, and the old school buildings are coming down. So the new plan is called Maltby Village, and that means this cafe is now going to become the anchor of a new development. You were just talking about, raising the height limit on these buildings, but now this is going to be one of those cafes It's not going to be in the old school building. It's going to be a brand fresh new development. And my question is, can something like a beloved local business like the Maltby Cafe keep that same kind of magic when you're in new digs?
I think it's mixed, right? I mean, we faced this dilemma in the bar. It's an old bar, and it's been in Seattle for 80 some odd years.
Feel free to tell people what's the name of the bar.
Streamline Tavern. And when we got forced out of our old location, when the Republic of Korea bought the building and evicted everyone, I mean, to build the new consulate. There's a new consulate sitting there, so we had to get into. And we were worried. This was 10 years ago. We had to. And we were lucky to find another old sort of dumpy building, which fit our bar just perfectly, right? But the thing is, like, we did look at new space, which was going in the Lower Queen Anne Uptown neighborhood at that time, and it was jarring how different everything was going to look with all the glass and the clean and like all this stuff that looked like steel, a lot of steel, a lot of glass, and it would really have. Now, could we still have run? At the end of the day, if the people and the service is good, you're going to keep the customers. They'll keep coming back in.
But you do lose something.
You do lose a certain feel of the place, and you lose that sort of authenticity. Like, I found something old and original, and you can't really reclaim that. But you can work very hard at having dynamite customer service and great interactions and creating an atmosphere where they want to be there anyway.
And Carrie in the 206 texted in and said, Maltby Cafe can definitely withstand this change.
Yeah,
so
I think so.
It sounds like the cinnamon rolls have them hooked. So, okay, still ahead, we are going to be talking about Washington's rich leaving. And I say that with a question mark because there is a tax that is smashing some records.
Yeah,
This is going to be a fun topic.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have more of that on the Gee and Ursula Show coming up.
Ooh, it is hot outside.
Western Washington is under a heat advisory.
So yeah, stay hydrated and stay with KIRO News Radio for updates on our record heat wave.
If we get to 90, it'll be the second time this June that we've done that.
Together with KIRO 7 Pinpoint Weather.
It's going to be interesting here for the next couple of days.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
In the Northwest 20 years ago, 90 was unforget about it.
The KIRO News Radio app and your smart speaker. Join the conversation and text your favorite show on the KIRO News Radio text line at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Are you thinking about getting a new TV this week at prime prices? Maybe a Samsung, LG, or a Sony? Before you click, you should check out Video Only because they've got below prime deals. That's right. Top-rated TVs at better than online prices. Curbside pickup or home delivery are available. Don't click before you call Video Only, because if you do, you'll be sorry.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please, don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
For years, I've been telling you how much we care for our hens and the land here at Wilcox Farms. But don't just take my word for it. Our family's commitment is backed by trusted third-party certifications. Hartley Wilcox here. Wilcox eggs are USDA organic, meaning no synthetic pesticides or GMOs. We're certified humane, ensuring our hens live with dignity and space to roam. We're salmon safe, protecting Northwest waterways, and recognized for sustainable farming practices. These aren't just labels. They're proof that every one of our eggs comes from a farm that values animal welfare, environmental stewardship, and your family's health. So next time you're at the store, look for Wilcox Family Farms eggs. They're not only delicious, they're certifiably humane and organic, raised with care you can trust. Learn more at wilcoxfamilyfarms.com, because doing the right thing isn't just our promise, it's our principle. Wilcox Family Farms eggs, locally fresh since 1909.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
AC acting up? Don't assume the worst. Home Comfort Alliance repairs first and only replaces if it makes sense. If you do need a new one, ask about an ultra-efficient heat pump and get real pricing in 60 seconds. Call the Comfort People. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM. Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. The party is on in Pioneer Square. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery is among the Bosnian revelers live. Jillian.
And I'm here with a group of people who have come here from all over the world. Bosnia. Families from all over the world and all over the country have flocked to Pioneer Square. And I know I'm using the word flocked a lot. Don't give me a hard time for that, Katrina. But it is a party. It is a great time. I'm seeing families playing music, draped in flags. And I spoke to one man who was trying to sneak in a vuvuzela to the stadium. And we all know what that is if you are a World Cup fan and watch the African World Cup.
Are you going to have to sneak it in?
Yeah.
You're going to sneak it in. That's awesome.
Of course, that's my grandson. He's fathered by for them.
Oh, it sounds so fun. What an incredible experience to have with your families. You got your grandson, your son, your whole family.
My 3 sons, yeah, my daughter-in-laws, and my grandkids, yeah.
And I will say the party atmosphere is real. This group has been drinking since 8:30. The bars are open. 8:13. Okay.
Sounds like they're having a really good time.
Too good of a time. We'll go back to you, Jillian, later in the show. All right. President Trump just spoke with reporters ahead of his meeting with Republicans after he delayed the signing of the bipartisan housing bill. Listen to this.
Iran is making very big concessions. We'll see what happens, but it's been very, very, very powerful. It's going very, very well.
The bill aims to promote new home construction and bars private equity firms from buying homes. All but 5 senators voted in favor of the bill. New data from the King County Regional Homelessness Authority reveals there's more than 18,000 people experiencing homelessness. KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas reports.
The report attributes this to shelter capacity remaining relatively stagnant in recent years. Now, this is a 9% increase from 2024's count, but it is a much slower increase than what we saw between 2022 to 2024. The King County Regional Homelessness Authority says while thousands exit homelessness every year, the intake is outpacing that output. It also points to a lack of affordable housing as a driving factor. A more extensive report is expected later this year.
2 popular East Side beaches are back open for swimming. The city of Kirkland says Juanita Beach and Waverly Beach reopened last night after being closed for about a week due to high bacteria levels. Health officials say the new testing from the King County data shows the water is now safe. Beaches had been shut down back there since June 16th as a precaution to protect swimmers. Crews will continue testing the water weekly throughout the summer. There's new momentum behind bringing the NBA back to Seattle. Commissioner Adam Silver told the Dan Patrick Show Seattle is just one of 2 cities under consideration along with Las Vegas.
We're currently looking at 2 teams, but what we've said is it's possible we won't expand at all, and we could expand to just one market. But we're officially looking at both those markets right now.
Silver says the league is targeting the 2028-2029 season if expansion moves forward. The Sonics left town in 2008, meaning a return could come about 20 years later. Now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Checking the roads right now, 35 minutes still from Everett to Seattle. Everett to Bellevue is less than an hour. The lake bridges are still clear. Northbound I-5 is still moving pretty slow past the West Seattle Bridge. It'll take you about 50 minutes right now from Federal Way to Seattle. This traffic report is brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Don't miss firework nights all summer long, presented by T-Mobile. Next up is the Patriotic Show, July 3rd. Get your tickets at mariners.com/fireworks. For your forecast, highs today will be in the 80s. Right now, it's about 72 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Wednesday to all of you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Coming up at 10:47, we do scenarios. Just a reminder that our Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO. Mike Lewis is filling in for G. And Mike, you've heard all the talk about all the rich people leaving our state because of... in large part because of taxes. And then this new state income tax targeting the wealthy is supposed to be pushing them out in droves. But here is something, and it's pointed out by Seattle Times columnist Danny Westneat, that doesn't fit into the narrative, which is that the state capital gains tax just brought in a staggering $1.5 billion this year, which is nearly triple what it collected last year and double what the state estimated.
Right.
And so Westneat is pointing out that people like Amazon's Jeff Bezos or investor Ken Fisher have moved out of the state, but there are many business leaders who continue to stay here, and they continue to stay in Washington, and they're making even more money than expected.
Yeah, this is a tough one. The Westneat column is terrific. I recommend everyone read it. It is essentially saying what is the deal between what we're hearing and then what we're seeing. And they're 2 different pictures. What we're hearing is that wealthy people are unhappy about the additional capital gains tax, other tax that's going to come on in a couple of years. They are getting at it to protect their wealth. They're getting out of the state. They're moving to Texas or Florida or whatever, Nevada, whatever. The other end of it is that we're collecting way more capital gains taxes than we predicted. So clearly someone's cashing in and paying it. And there could be circumstances regarding that some people are selling off now stuff that they had planned on selling off before, but thinking that this tax was going to be repealed. That's a possibility. And this bump we're seeing this year will not be replicated next year, for example. The only way you know about these things is over time. It's hard to go... The limited period of time that this tax has been collected, you
can't read too much into it.
It's whipsawed both directions, right? So there's little no. But I would say this, largely speaking about the billionaires and 100 millionaires who are purportedly and in some cases actually moving away. I mean, for Jeff Bezos, It meant a tax saving of $1 billion. Yeah, I don't know. He's got lots of billions, so he could probably have afforded to pay it. But for him, a much easier thing is just to change his residency to Florida, and then bing, done. So and he also grew up there and spends a lot of his time there, and it's a much easier place to dock that giant yacht he has. And so,
well, I mean, Howard Schultz. I mean, a lot was made of the Howard Schultz move too, as if it happened, immediately after this thing was passed, when in fact it had been in the works for a while. That said, though, and maybe you're in agreement with me, but that said, I'm not a big fan of this so-called millionaire tax. More not because it affects who it does, but more in that I don't trust that it's not going to. Even if Governor Ferguson says, I'm not going to let it go below that threshold, there have been no guardrails put in to make sure that is the case.
So here's the bit of data that I find sorely lacking in this situation. One, most of the people who got very, very wealthy in tech, let's just use tech as an example.
Yes.
Bezos, first among them, but I would say many of the people at Microsoft as well, did not arrive in Washington State as millionaires. They didn't.
Nope.
Bezos certainly didn't. So what are we talking about here? If a founder decides that at some point they're going to make a move to another state and this is not for them to protect their business. This is for them to protect their personal wealth. And again, to completely justified decision, but their business is here. I understand that there's a bit of a loss there, but the fact is what we should be worried about is the jobs that are not the founder job, because the founder jobs are rare anyway, and they're really not that high a percentage of potential tax load. A bigger percentage in terms of capital gains, but not the rest of the taxes. And so what are we talking about when a C-suite person moves to Florida, when a founder moves to Nevada? What are we actually losing in this state? And I'm not saying I want people to go away. What I'm saying is these are not people who are even building new businesses. They're preserving their own. And sometimes they move away and their business stays. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that this is the massive societal problem. Now, again, what I don't know is whether even my supposition is true. Mm-hmm. I do know that those companies are still here.
Yes.
And they're here because there's a University of Washington, and they've got enormous concentrations of talent. The reason that Google came here is not because Google loves Washington. Google loved the fact that it had a nest of incredibly talented people that they could all poach from each other, from Snapchat to Google to Meta. They're all in South Lake Union. And biotech, let's set that aside as well. Another massive organization in South Lake Union. They're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you make of, because I haven't had a conversation with you since all the headlines of Starbucks expanding its operations in Nashville and, on the heels of Howard Schultz moving now to Florida.
So let me draw a parallel with Starbucks. What is the big company that received more tax breaks than any other company in Washington state history, and after receiving those tax breaks, relocated its corporate headquarters? What is that company?
Boeing.
There you go. So what is the guarantee that if you absolutely do everything they ask, that they even stay? This is Boeing. There is no company more closely associated. We're called Jet City. For what reason? Boeing. The idea that you can provide enough benefits that they won't find another tax to complain about, and then they relocate to Chicago? Mm-hmm. Give me a break. If I fool me once, I don't think anyone here should be fooled twice. That is absolutely what happened. Go back and look at history if you're not familiar with this.
Yeah.
But you know what is still in Washington State? The non-corporate jobs that are actually, giving people wages in Everett and in Renton. Those stayed.
Yes. Well, and as Danny points out in his column, wealthy people who remain are even making more money than they expected.
The profit margins on some of these companies, what is it we're crying about? I mean, I'm not anti, and I don't think demonizing the wealthy is appropriate at all. But,
no, I don't either.
But let's just do some simple math here, please.
And I will still stick with my concern is, what about the rest of us? Does this go any lower? Which is, again,
if they start
my reason
moving
for
entire companies, panic. if they are just moving a couple of people in a C-suite to another so they can preserve more of their personal wealth, I disagree with Katie. Don't say the bye-bye thing. I thought that was tone deaf.
Yes.
But on the other hand, that has been their right. And the funny thing is, prior to this tax, they were doing it then too. And remember, when you got, I don't know if you got hired, I got hired from out of state. You know what? I got hired. I wasn't given away a wage increase from the newspaper job I had there to the newspaper job here. But they told me, in effect, you're getting a raise because you're not paying an income tax here. People were recruited literally on that point to this day.
That is so true. Okay, still ahead, we do scenarios when we solve other people's problems. This is the Gee and Ursula Show with Mike Lewis.
Ooh, it is hot outside.
Western Washington is under a heat advisory.
So yeah, stay hydrated and stay with KIRO Newsradio for updates on our record heat wave.
If we get to 90, it'd be the second time this June that we've done that.
Together with KIRO 7 Pinpoint Weather.
It's going to be interesting here for the next couple of days.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
In the Northwest 20 years ago, 90 was unforget about it.
The KIRO Newsradio app and your smart speaker.
Summer is here. I love it. And here in the Pacific Northwest, that means we are all looking for a reason to get out and enjoy the sunshine, whether it's the mountains, the coast, the lake, the campsites, like Chef likes to do, even just a weekend drive where you pretend traffic is not part of the adventure. And that is why our family drives Subarus, and that is a plural, from Carter Subaru. We have 2 cars that we purchased from Carter Subaru, and they've been everything that you want in a dealership, which is why we are repeat customers. At Carter Subaru, they are so easy to work with, straightforward, helpful, and they're there for you when you need them after the sale. And right now, Carter Subaru can help you get ready for all of your summer plans. You can get the 2026 Subaru Forester with financing starting at just 1.9%. So whether you're hauling kids, your dogs, your camping gear, groceries, or some combination of all of the above, start with Carter Subaru. Carter Subaru, you can find them in Ballard, in Shoreline, or online at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 6/30/26.
Summer's a busy time for businesses. WaFd bank accounts are designed to work with business owners like you, stay on top of every dollar, helping manage cash flow, pay vendors, and keep operations running smoothly. Get access to digital tools to simplify banking, like bill pay, signer and non-signer debit cards, and the option to upgrade your account as your business grows. Plus, our business bankers get to know you, so when you need help, we're there. WaFd Bank, built for business. Visit wafdbank.com, member FDIC.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Please be advised, you may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
I thought those were good for me.
What's healthy for one person may cause inflammation for another. So how do you know what your body actually needs? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that analyzes your real-time biology to give you personalized nutrition guidance and custom supplements. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase.
Check out the Puyallup Tribe's Firecracker Alley's new location at 3509 72nd Street East in Tacoma. Stock up now for your 4th and enjoy great food at Firecracker Alley. 3509 72nd Street East in Tacoma. Open now through July 4th.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
Holy smokes! The On Cruise Adventures Rick Riz Show.
What happened at the ballpark yesterday?
Sparky's sitting on my scorebook here, my cat.
Friday mornings at 8:15 on Seattle's Morning News.
It is 10:48 on this Wednesday morning, and it is time for us to do scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
This is a fascinating Ask Carolyn question. Complete honesty from someone, actually, for a change. Struggling with a situation here that makes me feel like a terrible person. My brother's 37, getting married. His fiance's 26, a teacher, and by all accounts, a wonderful person. The problem is that I can't stand her. I know how awful that sounds because she's never done anything wrong to me. In fact, she's been nothing but nice. But every time I see them together, I feel irritated and uncomfortable. Part of it is the age difference. My brother's a doctor, spent years building his career, and I always imagined he'd end up with someone closer to his age and life experience. Instead, he's marrying a woman more than a decade younger. But if I'm being completely honest, it also bothers me that she's thin, young, and very attractive. She seems to walk into every room and effortlessly win people over. My parents adore her. My brother seems happier than I've ever seen her. And the worst part, I don't have any actual reason to dislike her. Yet every interaction I have with her leaves me feeling annoyed and then guilty for being annoyed. How do I get over my resentment towards someone who hasn't done anything wrong? Ursula?
You want to start with
Mike?
me? I say we start with our guest.
You like punching to the guest.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I like to be polite.
Like doing that. I don't know. I mean, I think the simple answer is seek counseling. You know, it's true.
This is the counseling, Mike.
All right, so then you've sought it. I don't know how someone can talk their way out of their own jealousy, right? Because that's really what this is. It's very difficult to have this sort of crazy, like apply a set of crazy standards to someone that they are already, and then decide that these things are inadequate for not your relationship, but your brother's relationship. I don't know. If you cannot find a way to be happy for your brother, who is with someone who seems like to be a decent person, I don't have an answer for you other than seek counseling. There is obvious that is not going to be limited to this person. You know, that is going to be across the you're going to make yourself unhappy for a lot of relationships in your life if this is where you're at.
I agree with you. I think that this is someone who does need counseling. But without that, I would ask a few questions. And first of all, I'll give kudos to the fact that they're articulating how they really feel about it, and saying, I have zero reason. I have absolutely no reason other than she doesn't fit what I had expected for my brother, who is this very successful person. Does she think that this attractive woman is only in it for the money? Maybe there's some underlying things in there. But again, he's happy. Parents are happy. Brother's never been happier. Everyone is awesome, except you. And so, yeah, you are the problem. And the only credit I give is that you're being honest about it. But it's like, why is that? Is it because you have less time or less access to your brother because of this, or you're not happy within yourself? And I think it's more the latter.
Mm-hmm.
Unhappy people don't like to see other people happy.
Yeah, I think you guys are nailing it. The question I have is, how broad of a problem is this? Because I'm not going to ask you specifics, but there are a lot of people who are extremely attractive who report that either people, upon first meeting them, want to fawn all over them and be their best friend, or that they're instantly hated for no good reason because of jealousy. Like, do you think this is a real issue? Like, is attractiveness actually a problem for people?
An overstated issue. I think that there are some people who say, yeah, I have pretty privilege. No, I'm not speaking for me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that they will claim that they have pretty privilege, or they will say that people are jealous and automatically assume it's because of their looks without doing some more introspection. That's my feeling. I think, could it be that there are some people who are truly jealous and there are those who get the brunt of that? Absolutely. Because that's a human emotion, but I think it's also overstated.
Yeah, I think that it has the beauty factor has a relatively short shelf life in some ways. It does. I mean, like, that person is immediately impressive. Everyone's kind of looking that direction, and then they settle into who they are, and you settle into how you feel about them, regardless of the appearance. I mean, I know in the bar business, there is a effort. I mean, New York was famous for requiring you, when you applied for a job, especially in nicer restaurants, to send a glossy
headshot.
A headshot.
Have you been to Joey's?
Joey's was famous for that. I don't know if Joey's still is famous for that, but
there's not an unattractive person working at that restaurant.
No, when I was teaching school at Seattle University, I was teaching journalism classes, and this one woman, young woman, very good-looking young woman, said to me at one point, "Yeah, well, I've got to." She had to get out of a meeting that we were supposed to have regarding a paper she wrote, and she said, "I've got to get to my job. I work at a restaurant in Bellevue," and I said, "Joey's?" And she's like, "How do you know?" Like, Joey's.
Oh, boy.
Of course. Joey's has that reputation.
Nick, can somebody be too perfect?
Well, the way I see it, if your brother's happy, then keep him happy, because from what I'm hearing, there doesn't seem to be any problem at all, aside from the one that the sister's manifesting for herself, feeling self-conscious about how she views the younger wife being perhaps inappropriate or not fitting into the equation she had in her mind. And as for the age gap, listen, I've seen way wider ranges from the 11-year difference these two have. So Mike has a point. Maybe find some help for your issues, because if I'm in your shoes, I'd be feeling more proud of the brother for the fact that he found a diamond out in the minefield for himself. Try not to rain on their parade and keep these feelings to yourself. It's only going to fragment your relationship with your brother if you ever say anything out loud.
I think you're right, Nick. Keep your opinion to yourself. However, 253 texted in and said, maybe spend one-on-one time with a person for a day even. Get to know this person. It might help you get to understand why everyone else seems to love him.
I think a lot of people have this problem but don't admit it.
Yeah. Jealousy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
And I also think that if you've decided to assign, an idea of what your brother should date, I mean, some small rationales make sense,
Yes.
but like,
Yeah.
she has it scripted in her head.
Yes.
Like, and anything outside that?
Yes. She's just naturally suspicious of anyone who would end up with her brother,
Yes.
but especially this
Yes.
woman who otherwise seems perfect.
100%.
Okay, still ahead, we have more of the Gee and Ursula Show with Mike Lewis.
She's a bad mama jamma. Just as fine as she can be.
Jason Rantz here. If your water heater is getting older, leaking, or running out of hot water, CM Heating has an affordable solution. Get a new gas or electric water heater installed starting at just $44.99 a month. With CM Heating's Comfort as a Service program, you'll get lifetime repairs and maintenance at no extra charge. Parts and labor covered for life. Plus, same-day installation is available in many cases. Schedule your free estimate today at cmheating.com.
License number CMHEAHL 750LP.
Hartley here from Wilcox Family Farms. You've heard the saying, you are what you eat. Eggs are an incredible source of protein and omega-3s. But have you thought about what the hens eat to make healthier eggs? At Wilcox Farms, our hens enjoy organic pastures and a diet of organic grains and flaxseed, creating vibrant yolks, richer flavor, and real nutrition for your family. Next time you're at the store, choose Wilcox Eggs. Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Staples Easy Deal Days are here. Score up to 50% off more than 1,000 products in-store and online. It all ends July 4th. Staples. That was easy.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466, 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. It's unclear whether international weapons inspectors will be able to monitor and access damaged nuclear sites in Iran. President Trump has said Iran is willing to allow them, but Iran has rejected that. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Look, obviously, anytime you enter into a negotiation, it's a process of give and take. This is a temporary measure. It's for 60 days. And as a result, we expect them to live up to the commitments they made.
Rubio today in Kuwait City. President Trump canceled today's signing of a bipartisan affordable housing bill. The president on social media said he'll sign it only if Congress passes the Save America Act. The bill passed with a veto-proof margin in Congress, so lawmakers could pass it again into law on their own. A federal judge today barred Trump from implementing a proof of citizenship requirement to vote. Israel denying a claim by a UN-commissioned independent panel that Israel is deliberately shooting children in Gaza and is committing genocide. This is ABC News. Bill Gates says Jeffrey Epstein tried to use his sex life against him in a transcript newly released by the House investigation into the accused sex offender. ABC's Aaron Katursky.
Gates acknowledged he had 3 extramarital affairs, and when Epstein learned about 2 of them from a mutual acquaintance, he said Epstein began working to use information about my infidelities. The committee asked Gates about photos from the Epstein files showing him with women. Gates responded he did not know them. He said Epstein asked me to take a photo with one of his assistants, which I did.
We're hearing from a paddleboarder followed by a great white shark off the coast of Santa Barbara, California on Father's Day weekend. Robert Kagan says his niece, Kayla, paddled nearby at the time.
There's like a moment of like, it becomes real, especially when I saw the shark. As soon as I saw the shark, I just started telling Kayla, like, I'm not going to tell you what I saw, just go back to shore.
Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
just 1 hour away from Seattle's third World Cup match. More on that in a moment, but first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Seattle Sports. Starting south in Federal Way, northbound I-5 is slow and steady heading through Fife into Tacoma, and congestion continues upward towards SeaTac. In Renton, 405 is packed in both directions. Expect delays, especially near the I-90. And over in Bellevue, westbound I-90 and SR 520 are both crowded as you head into Seattle with backups at the lake crossings and Mount Lake. And up north in Everett, southbound I-5 is beginning to back up into Linwood now as you head to downtown Seattle. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. The world has come to Seattle. Fans are drinking, singing, and dancing their way through Pioneer Square to the game. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery reports live from Pioneer Square. Jillian?
Katrina, you might even be able to hear some of the party behind me. There's music, there's cheering fans, the people are holding flags. It's pretty incredible. As the World Cup goes on, the hype just keeps hyping. Bosnian fans are here from all over the world.
London, England. Salt Lake City. Frankfurt.
Hong Kong! Wow!
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
London!
Hong Kong, London.
And what do these people have in common? They are all from the same village in Bosnia, here to show their incredible national pride. And I have to say, I know as a reporter I'm supposed to be impartial. The hype is contagious. I've now been adopted by the Bosnian fans. That group gave me a flag. I'm wearing it. I will try to find a flag from the other team. For now, live in Pioneer Square, Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Thanks, Jillian. Seattle leaders are moving to shut down streets near Aurora Avenue in response to ongoing gun violence. A city council public safety committee approved an emergency plan yesterday. Councilmember Deborah Soares.
I think that we do have the authority to shut down a street for bullets flying and endangering the very lives of those that live there. Actually live there, go to school there, walk their children to school there, get on the bus there, they use the transportation.
The council is expected to vote next week. Seattle Public Schools won't get a new trial in a case that's costing them millions. A King County judge said no to the district yesterday, according to the Seattle Times. This goes back to 2018 when a former math teacher hit a student and threw him out of a middle school classroom. A jury sided with that student back in November and awarded him $8 million. The district argued the jury got bad instructions and was swayed by emotional appeals. Judge Sean O'Donnell ruled the evidence just did not back that up. The district says it's disappointed and plans to appeal. A 17-year-old boy pulled from Lake Washington is in critical condition. KIRO 7 TV's Nia Bliss reports the teen jumped off a dock in the Mount Baker area neighborhood yesterday.
Kayla Lafferty with the Seattle Fire Department said people in the area immediately jumped into action.
As soon as they felt like something was off, they called 911.
Giving first responders enough notice to respond within minutes. Rescue swimmers found him by the same dock he jumped off from.
Under the surface of the water, but not too far down.
Though crews pulled him out alive, he was sent to Harborview in critical condition. At this time, Lafferty says they don't know whether temperature, injury, or other factors led to the 17-year-old remaining underwater for nearly 10 minutes in Lake Washington.
For your weather, it's so hot today. Highs will be in the mid-80s. Right now, it's about 76 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday to all of you. It is June 24th. G is out today. Mike Lewis is in. Thank you so much for joining us.
Ursula, I am always happy to be here, and it's been a while since I've been on the show, so, so far it's blazed past.
It
too
has.
fast for me, because
I know.
actually really enjoy it here.
It might get really slow right about 5 minutes from now because we're going to be settling this bet here real soon.
Oh, no, that's going to go very quickly.
Yeah. But as always, I want to remind you that the Muckleshoot Casino Resort line our text line is open for you, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
So, in case you haven't figured it out, it is wedding season for many, many couples, and we're going to get to that famous couple in a moment. We're going to settle the bet. But for right now, we want to talk about what is happening in Des Moines, where a historic venue that has stood for more than a century could be torn down. A King County judge has now ruled that the owners of the historic Masonic home of Washington can move forward with demolition. And so the judge had rejected the latest legal challenge from preservation groups that were trying to save this landmark. Now, I know that there are some people who are very passionate about it, and I have seen some of the social media posts, but this home opened in the early 1900s, and it became a place where generations of Washington families celebrated things like weddings, or they gathered for events. And King 5 reports that they've heard from hundreds of people who've had personal connections to this site. And supporters are saying, once you tear this down, it is gone forever. The family of the building's original architect says it is cultural and architectural legacy that cannot be replaced. But for now, all those efforts are gone because the demolition can proceed.
Yeah. I mean, I hate seeing old buildings, especially cool ones, torn down. And Seattle has its own really, not necessarily troubling, but really kind of a mediocre history of historical preservation. The city got very, very excited in various booms and just allowed good stuff, and then finally started this doing weird hybridized where the facade has to stay, but you sleeve a new building inside of it, which has been mixed as far as its presentation. I like historical preservation, but I don't like it in lieu of especially a building like this, which there is no money to restore it. So it then just becomes an eyesore. As a person who lived in visual distance of the old Washington Ferry, the Kalakala, when he first moved into town.
Remember that? Yes.
And I watched that thing like drop chunks into Lake Union. And I kind of loved it because I felt like that was our monument to procrastination. And I liked the idea that it was there, but it was, and remember, it got towed then to Nia Bay, where the Makah tribe finally said, are you ever going to come pick this thing up?
Yes.
And then it got towed back to, as always, where everything will eventually end up, Tacoma, and then it sank in Tacoma. And and then they cut it apart and auctioned off like portholes in the life rings and things like that. But that thing, like, it was dragged back from Alaska where the money ran out as soon as it got here,
Yes.
and just
And
got
for
worse
people
and
who
worse
don't
over
know
time.
the history, because you and I have lived here a long time,
Yeah.
Mike. So the history,
And I love the Kalakala.
the Kalakala is an Art Deco style ferry.
A streamlined ferry. It was
ferry.
really beautiful in its day, but it had been turned into a fish
dump.
processor.
Yeah.
It had been dumped in a mud flat, and then somebody with vision, and I respect that, like dragged it back here and thought there was going to be this groundswell of people who were interested, and everyone's like, I'm really interested. I'll get back to you in a week.
Yes, because it was like
never called
for
back.
a while there was a price tag of $1 million, and then after a while it was like, okay, did anyone want it for $1?
And it's still a shame, but the fact is it got dismantled, and I'm probably the only person who cares.
It was cool. It looked like the Airstream,
cool.
like the Airstream trailer version of a ferry.
Yes, a floating
the aluminum skin, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We literally have a tiny mural of it in the bar. I like the Kalakala so much. But even then, I understood why it was dismantled.
Okay, so we're talking about this temple where people were like, oh, you're never going to be able to redo that, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think that people will balk at the idea of getting rid of something that they say is structurally or architecturally historic and needs to be preserved, and it's only when something's going to happen to it? Otherwise, they don't care and let it run down to
Totally. I mean, people lament closed old historic businesses that they never go to. Like this is, and I would suggest for everyone who is listening right now, look in your basement at the stuff you are holding on to that you are never going to, the boxes that you've moved 4 times now without opening. Like, at some point, I understand, and I'm a nostalgic person too, but sometimes our nostalgia gets in the way of actual progress. Like, some things do need to be gotten rid of, even if they're beautiful and they're old. You know.
This is true. And now I may be opening up a new can of worms, but that in many ways is how I felt about the whole Gasworks Park argument, which opened up other things too, about the structures where people were like, oh my God, don't touch it.
Right.
This is the way it's always been. I mean, are you really that passionate, or is it just a small group of very vocal people who are very passionate about it?
We're lucky that people do draw a line and push back. I think we are. I think there are things that we would have rolled over. You know what? Best example in Seattle of this is? The absolute best example of this, maybe in the Western United States, Pike Market. Pike Market was slated for demolition, and that was
Victor Steinbrook.
Victor Steinbrook
Yes.
saved that thing. That's the most visited place in Seattle. It was absolute. So we do have things. We have evidence that those people who push back are doing something good, I think, in many cases. But that also then was followed up by a real civic desire to actually restore the thing and make it better than it was.
Yes, and
because it was a dump when they were getting ready to tear it down, and you could see why they would want to. I mean, so is this building the Pike Market? No.
Okay, well, let's talk about other places to have your weddings, because Town Hall Seattle, the former church on First Hill that went through a $35 million restoration just a couple of years ago, is officially opening its doors to weddings. And the starting price may surprise you. Ceremony-only packages will start at just under $6,000. And you can read more about this on mynorthwest.com. Chef was asking, is that actually cheap? And I would argue, yes.
Really?
I think that is absolutely inexpensive.
Okay.
And if you've always dreamed of taking over the entire landmark, full building rental would run up to $17,000. That's before catering and extras. But it is so hard to find venues that will hold weddings.
Yes, it is. But you know what? Have you ever been on? I don't know if you're not a regular Washington State Ferry rider, I assume.
No.
I am semi-regular. I like. I've never been tired of it. I've been here 26 years. I still dig it.
Though.
I dig it every time I do it.
Yes.
So have you ever been? So I've been on the wedding on the ferry twice when people have done flash weddings there, where the whole wedding party boards, and then in the trip between either Bainbridge, which is a pretty fast wedding, or to Bremerton, which is a little easier from a scheduling standpoint, everyone assembles. They have the mute. They do the whole thing. And it's spectacular. It's beautiful.
They just take over the space?
They take over one of the spaces.
You're not allowed to rent it, so they just co-opt it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's fantastic. I mean,
you don't actually have to organize it beforehand? Like that's taken.
I
think you do.
They do.
I actually really?
No.
Okay, we need to look into this. I don't want to.
No, they're flash weddings. They absolutely are not.
Just a regular flash wedding.
Flash wedding.
Okay,
I mean, this is not. No, you can't book it. You're not unsanctioned weddings. Yeah, the burden of unsanctioned weddings in our society continues on Washington State ferries. You don't find people doing it on Greyhounds, mind you, but you do find it on the ferry because it's a beautiful place to do it.
Well, and you can talk about that forever. You have great pictures, guaranteed.
Great pictures.
Zero.
And you know what? Everyone else
expense.
celebrates around you.
And then you tell people, if you're hungry, go to the little snack shop.
Yeah, go grab a beer in the commissary, right? Whatever. But then they tend to get off, and then they have an actual reception designation on either end, in either direction.
Yes. Mike, people are calling us out. Did you say one of us said Pike Market?
Yeah,
Pike Place Market?
So
I
say
and
that,
you were a lot.
I did it the second time I did it because I knew.
Yeah.
Every time I do it, there is that
horse
thing.
hockey. You did not do that on purpose.
The second one I did. The first one I did.
I believe him.
All right.
Okay, but we know it's Pike Place Market. It's not Pike's Place.
Coming out.
We know. We're locals almost.
Yeah.
We're almost locals.
I know.
Okay. We need to settle a bet because we're talking about weddings.
We're not settling it yet.
Okay.
But we are very close to settling it.
Travis
not in my favor.
and Taylor are going to get married, and we believe it's coming. Yeah, reportedly.
Think how good the album's going to be when
Madison
they break up
Square,
the day before.
Please.
Epic.
Yes.
Epic.
Madison Square Garden. I
that's
understand.
That's a nice.
Yes.
Speaking of renting marriage venues.
Exactly. But okay, so there's a lot going on, though, because we're going to have to talk about a new song that she just dropped in the midst of all of this. But speaking of weddings, of course, the best gift is to show up to a wedding. But what happens when someone says, the couple says, no gifts? Because that is apparently the rule for Travis and Taylor is that they want no gifts. NFL star George Kittle
that's fair.
Says the couple had told guests absolutely no gifts when they tie the knot. And I know Chef has said that he likes that trend what do you when someone says no gifts? Do you follow what they say, or do you still get a gift?
If you look at the history of wedding gifts, I mean, typically it was younger couples who didn't have much, and everyone sort of chipped in to get them sort of like a leg up on all the stuff they're going to need, from toasters to appliances, curtains, whatever. That made sense. You've got a couple of issues in modern society. You've got second marriages, sometimes thirds, maybe even a fourth. I think at some point that doesn't make any sense. But I also think if the couple are working professionals and they're getting married in their late 30s, I think that stuff should be minimized. I don't know that that's always, but also I would look at their economic situation. If they are well off, no. If they are not, and they're still a couple because you can be in your 30s and not making a lot of money and getting married for the first time and all of that.
And maybe you want gifts.
But look at every situation individually. It should not be. And also from the wedding end of it, calibrate your registry with your guest list. Like I have had a couple of people, no names will be mentioned. I was floored at what the expectation was.
Oh, on the registry?
On the registry.
Oh, yeah.
Like some of the stuff on there, I was like,
well, in some cases,
I appreciate you shooting for the moon, but no.
But you know that in some cases they're just looking to get it and then return it and get the cash.
I didn't realize. I didn't actually think it through like that.
This is a thing?
I think for some people it is a thing. If you're wondering,
who does that?
Text us. Do you know anyone who does that? Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line.
Can I tell a quick wedding gift?
Yes, of course.
So I get and I'm going to actually mention their names. My friends Terry and Patty, many, many years ago. This is when I was still in California. We get, my then girlfriend and I get them, and I was not a big fan of this gift, but it was kind of a very modern vase. It was, but it was the type with the little needles in the bottom where you put all the flowers. All right.
Yep, absolutely.
And I was like, I don't know, this is not that great looking, but all right. It's a big slab of like granite or something like that.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So we get it for him. It was not my choice. I don't think much about it. I don't know, a year or so later, I'm over at Terry's house. We're playing poker. I drop a poker chip. It rolls all the way across the floor and underneath the television. And so I go to get the poker chip, and I look at it, and that's where the wedding.
Shut up! No way!
No way! And not only that, I actually pull it out and I say, "Hey!" And he starts cracking up. Patty turns like three shades of red.
No way!
And she's like, "I don't know how that got that. It clearly had been there for years, like since we gave it to him." And the best part is,
underneath the TV stand?
Underneath the TV, just covered in dust. The best thing about it, though, is after we come back, I come back over there for dinner like in 2 weeks, and it's in the center of the table with flowers, which is the only thing they could have done at that point. It became sort of a running joke. It was
How
very,
much
very
did
funny.
that thing cost you? $500?
No, it was probably but it was probably in the $150 range.
Sure.
And this is 20 years ago.
Yes, no, I know exactly what you're talking about because I have one. Okay. I have broken that rule, though. I will admit, when people say, "Oh, you don't need to bring gifts," I don't know. There's always a little part of me that feels naked coming to something. If I don't bring
They're
it.
okay with it. Trust me.
Most people have all that stuff already. There's nothing you're going to do.
This is true.
You may give them an upgrade, but you're not giving them something new.
Well,
you get my drift? Like they already have most of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the in lieu of.
Yeah.
In lieu of that,
you know what?
You've
Give
got
me an option. Yes, or
a charity or something like that. I think is fantastic.
Or if they say, "Hey, you know what? You want to contribute to our honeymoon trip?"
Or
That's
paying for the
awesome.
reception, or something like that.
I
I'm
love
much
that.
more aligned on
Well,
that.
apparently Taylor and Travis are saying no gifts. But did you hear? Do you guys know that Toy Story 5 is out?
So, quick quiz question
Yes.
for you two, without looking at your computers. When did Toy Story 1 come out? What year?
1981.
Oh, please. All right,
No, like
Ursula's out of the competition.
96?
Now, that's a 95. Very good.
95.
Very good.
I know. It just feels like it was a long time ago.
It was a long time
Groundbreaking.
ago. But not when you were in high school. Not when you were in high school. It did not come out when you were a sophomore in high school, Ursula.
And the reason you know pinpoint
Because we're the same
is
age.
we're the same age.
Please.
Okay. I knew it was a long time ago, but you're right. Yes.
They were doing computer animation when you were a sophomore in high school.
No, remember,
8-bit computer animation.
I started at KIRO in 1988 when we still had cart machines and reel-to-reel.
And still 7 years prior to Toy Story coming out.
Okay, let me revise my years.
Thank you.
Well, there's Toy Story 5 now, and did you hear that Taylor has the closing song? Check this out.
And I remembered I loved you. Came back when it mattered, I saw you. Standing there in the light of the window, wearing that same smile. Man, it's been a while, but I knew it, I knew you.
Okay, Nick, you can weigh in. Our music guy, you can weigh in.
It's good for the kids, I'll say that. Not necessarily my taste. It's a little poppy, but you know what? If I was like a 4 or 5-year-old kid, I think I'd be bouncing around to this thing.
Well, and did you know, though, that it has debuted at number 8 on Billboard's country airplay chart? Which may not sound like a huge deal, but
Taylor Swift could read a shopping list and it would debut at number 8 on the Billboard list. That's how successful she is.
I love you, Mike.
I know. I made Chef pull the music. And he's like, he was trying to find something positive or so I was like, just zip it. But
I'm not anti-Taylor Swift. I'm really impressed with her, but anything she does is number 8 on the Billboard list.
Well, okay. Don't diminish it because
I'm not diminishing it.
She's there's only one other artist in history that has ever debuted a song in the top 10 of that chart. And who is that? It was Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
So Taylor Swift being the first woman to do that. So that is really, really cool. Okay, but let's talk about the bet real quick that you're going to pay on.
Let's talk about it again. All right, so here's the deal. I rashly, and actually it would be interesting, and I'm sure you're probably working on this, to go back and find the original audio of me making a very rash prediction. Ursula was, I think, she was overly enthusiastically celebrating the dating relationship that had just been announced, and I happened to be filling in. Mistake number 1. I happened to be filling in on this show, and you were being so effusive about. I just felt I needed to push back in some way, and maybe it was an irrational pushback, but I said, they're not going to get married. And then the conversation escalated, and I finally laid what's going to turn out to be a very expensive bet on, I will get you dinner at Canlis if they actually get, because I just thought it was Taylor Swift mining another relationship for the next 2 albums. Yeah.
Yes.
And then I just I didn't initially say, I said buy you dinner, and then I ramped it up because you needled me a bit. And then I ramped it up to Canlis, and I've regretted it. The Canlis folks even know about this bet because I've talked to them about it. So
we're going to do it soon.
So it looks like I am going to have to be paying this bet. Yes, it is. And we will I am honor 100% of my bets. Absolutely, this is going to happen unless someone saves the day for me, between now and Madison Square Garden.
It's kind of weird, but I think I kind of fell in love a little bit with Mike Lewis, if that's okay to say. Wait. What's the context of that?
That was back in the day when Mike was betting with you. That was the closest audio I could find. But Mike, I just have to say, for the listening,
I'll take that.
For the listening audience, I just want them to know that a historic first has happened at radio.
Yes.
Somebody who's made a bet on the radio is actually going to on off, and it's not performative.
Yes.
John Curley's son still owes me $5 from 8 years ago on a Warriors bet. Yes, I was never paid on that, not once. So yes,
I'm going to look forward to our lunch.
Yes.
So anyway, but I did. The funny thing is, it's lovely, but I did know at that point when they first started, it was you know what?
You said it right away. You said it right away.
This
was the real deal, and I
deal.
just was not a believer.
And I'm happy for them. Okay, more of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
Life doesn't have to slow you down just because costs are up. At Subaru of Puyallup, fuel-efficient models help you go farther with the confidence of all-wheel drive. And you have to experience the newly redesigned Subaru Outback with bold styling, advanced safety, an upgraded touchscreen, and even more capability. For stress-free pricing, a huge selection, and current offers, stop by Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership. Part of the Harnish Auto family. Visit SubaruofPuyallup.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go? Show?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask like 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Deep to right field. Going. Goodbye, baseball.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. But for a view that's a real home run, check out right field. Make that the dump yard. Sure, it's a great spot to see our fearless outfielders fly, dive, and slide.
Wow! Victor Robles makes the catch!
But you might get to flash some leather too, because the forecast in the dump yard always calls for rain. Raining big dumper home runs, that is.
Number 60, the magical tour of Cal Raleigh just continues.
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The next Mariners homestand gets started on June 29th with an epic 3-day giveaway. Don't miss your chance to score a Cal Raleigh Funko Pop collectible. June 29th, June 30th, and July 2nd against the Angels. Available to the first 10,000 fans each game. Score value tickets for less than $12 for all 3 dates at mariners.com.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with 0 investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Please be advised, you may want to stop eating the following foods immediately. Broccoli, kale, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
I thought those were good for me.
What's healthy for one person may cause inflammation for another. So how do you know what your body actually needs? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that analyzes your real-time biology to give you personalized nutrition guidance and custom supplements.
Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the 4 walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Guys, it's Men's Health Month at Revive Seattle. Get a free comprehensive wellness panel. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Valued at $400. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. It's a must-win game for both teams as Bosnia takes on Qatar in Seattle. KIRO Newsradio's Jillian Rafferty reports from outside the stadium.
Katrina, both teams need a win to move on. Both teams' fans think they are going to come out on top. I've heard a lot of people say they think Qatar is going to win 2-1. Whatever happens, we're half an hour away from game time, and everyone is excited and proud to be here.
I have a Middle Eastern heritage, so that's one reason I'm supporting them. And they were super generous too. You know, they distributed free tickets and they gave us some gears to support.
That fan was decked out in maroon and white. Those are the colors of the team from Qatar, and he was very excited. It's a party down here, but there is one tension point. The street preachers. There are at least 3 very loud megaphone-clad street preachers outside the stadium and more around Pioneer Square, and they are not just doing their regular thing. They are calling out individuals walking into the stadium and also calling out Muslim fans. Both teams are majority Muslim countries, so far everyone has been respectful, even though there is some tension. Reporting live in Pioneer Square, Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Thanks, Jillian. President Trump is meeting with Republican senators on Capitol Hill. Today's meeting comes after he abruptly canceled signing a bipartisan housing bill. Before meeting with lawmakers, the president talked to reporters but did not say if or when he'll sign the housing bill. Instead, he talked about yesterday's primary elections.
Every election's important. We're doing very well. They want a lot of communists to come in. I'm saying it a little bit differently, but the people that they're pushing are communists, and this country is not going to have communists.
Historically, Washington homes are known for not having air conditioning, but it's changing. KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas explains.
Census data showing back in 2019, just 44% of homes across King, Pierce, and Snohomish counties had an AC refrigeration unit or swamp cooler. In 2023, though, that number jumped up to 64%. We went to Pacific Supply Co., a hardware store in Capitol Hill. We met a lot of people that had upgraded their home over the last 10 years.
But now that we have it just included in the house is much better.
Now, if you do not have AC or a fan, you can consider visiting a public library. They have air conditioning and they do act as cooling shelters.
Pierce County is warning residents about a scam email making the rounds right now. Officials say the message is impersonating the county's planning commission and ask recipients to pay an application approval fee tied to land use programs. Residents are urged not to respond, not to send money or personal information, and to delete the message immediately. If you're unsure, contact Pierce County directly to verify any communication. Now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Global Credit Union. We have a traffic alert in Kirkland. Southbound 405 is almost entirely blocked for a crash at 85th. Only the right lane is getting by right now. Both tow lanes and 2 left lanes are blocked. Otherwise, northbound I-5 just past the Michigan curve. A collision is on the left shoulder there. The traffic jams all the way to Albro Place. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. For your forecast, sunshine and the heat is on today. Highs will be in the mid-80s. Right now, it's about 78 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Mike Lewis is in for Gee today. Gee will be back tomorrow. Right now, it is time for us to agree to disagree, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
You know, pet owners have all kinds of ways now to keep track of their animals while they're at work or on their vacation. They've got, the smart home monitors. They can hear the dog. They can talk back to the dog. But what if your dog had their very own device that they could communicate with you anytime they want? That's the promise behind the Pet Phone. It's a new, supposedly AI-powered device that its creators call the first of its kind smartphone for pets. It is a collar-mounted gadget, combines GPS tracking, health monitoring, two-way audio, and AI. And it promises to allow the pets to initiate communication with humans. So allegedly, Mike, you can train your dog to, say, jump up and down 3 times to activate the voice communication, and then it can tell you if it's anxious or tired or hungry, or maybe it doesn't have enough in its water bowl. This is the promise, Mike. A part smartphone fitness tracker, GPS locator for pet parents everywhere. What say you?
You had to add that last term, didn't you? Pet parents.
Yeah.
That is like one of my
pet peeves.
Big pet peeves. But it actually fits appropriate with this. That's so completely unhinged. It is the thing I like about it is that when the historians write about this era, like the way they wrote about Rome when it became so decadent it couldn't even exist anymore as a civilization, this is what they're going to bring up, the fact that we wanted to give our pets an ability. Like, what is your pet going to? I know we have had a cat for 18 years now. I love the cat, Vern. Good cat. What would Vern say to me other than I'm sleeping, I'm hungry, I'm sleeping, I'm hungry? I've seen like one of my friends showed me the messages from her kid.
When they're anxious, Vern could have said,
meow. No, he gets anxious when he's sleepy or hungry. Or maybe there's a noise. If someone's doing construction, that bothers him too.
Yes.
There's limited things, and I can sort out all of them very quickly because if
fireworks,
you put up I get it all.
4th of July is coming up.
This is all very knowable. I don't need actually sentences attached and a phone attached to. All of these things is a very limited communications palette, which I greatly appreciate.
Yes.
I don't need to expand it.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And I'm not going to get down on people who consider themselves pet parents. I mean, if that's how you like to refer to yourself, that's all good.
No.
Okay? That's not, you do you. You do you. And if I could, and right
Isn't this
now,
one of those stories that if this were April 1st, would you assume this story is a hoax? I would.
At one point, I would have.
Yeah, maybe
Today,
not anymore. Maybe not anymore in today's world.
No, because people are obsessed with their pets. And I don't think that's all a bad thing. However, I think that there are points where you can take it too far. And just because you can does not mean.
Those points.
Yes, and I agree. Just because you can does not mean you should.
I think it's fantastic. But go ahead, finish.
No, you don't. Well, one of the things that I was going to say is right now, I want to share with everybody because y'all have been with me with Scooter from day one, right? So Scooter is now 16 and we are going through, definitely his last days, maybe last weeks.
I'm really sorry about that. That's awful.
It is. It is. And so I shared recently that he was diagnosed with cancer in his paw. And so we had to have one of his toes amputated. And he just hasn't bounced back like we would like him to. It turns out he also has a pretty serious heart murmur. And again, I mean, he's lived till 16. And I will be honest, there's a part of me that wants to be able to ask, like, Scooter, what do you want?
Right.
Mean, because right now I'm like, the vet is finding all sorts of ways for us to spend a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And we're spending a lot of money right now, keeping him as comfortable as possible.
Yeah, palliative care, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
And it's like, I'm trying to figure out, and this is one of those moments where you're like, okay, would there be some other way than just to see, and he still wags his tail and he's still, so the signs are still there that he's not ready to quite give up. But it's like there are times where you're like, I wish I could talk to him.
Well, steak.
But still.
Bacon.
Yes, those still excite him.
If he'd got a bowl of turkey gravy, I'm sure he'd slop that down.
But we're having to work harder for him to eat his food.
Yeah. And if you could talk to him, it wouldn't necessarily make this decision easier. Would it? Exactly.
But it might make it more clear.
I mean, unless you said something really insulting.
Like, what are y'all doing?
Has anyone ever told you your feet smell weird?
I never really liked you anyway.
Oh my gosh. Mike, that was too far.
Mike, that did go too far. Mike, this dog had many, many opportunities to run from home.
It's going to be another 8 months before I'm on the show again.
And he's come back.
All right, I got to ask you a World Cup question. There's a player for Paraguay. His name is Miguel Almiron. He's gotten a 1-game suspension after he got a red card for covering his mouth. I was trying to read into the story. I'm like, there must be something more here to this. No, the player has been suspended 1 game from the World Cup for covering his mouth. This is a new rule. Apparently, it's meant to prevent players from disguising nasty things that they might say to others on the field. Mike, what do you think about suspending people from the World Cup because they happen to cover their mouth?
100%. It's great. I mean, the problem in the World Cup, and the problem has been because you have countries playing other countries and a lot of different nationalities,
right?
Is there is some pretty vile stuff that goes in and
Sure.
pretty racist stuff that will go on between players, and people have been suspended based on lip reading in cameras. I mean, look at baseball players. They don't want people to tip off pitches because they know that people can see the broadcast. That's why they do the mitt up over the mouth when the catchers and pitchers are talking. That's required in baseball now. They actually train you to do this.
Sure.
So they don't want people seeing what they're saying. And so what happened in soccer is when people started getting busted for racist comments and other comments, they started covering their mouths so you couldn't tell. And and now they decided in the World Cup they don't like the optics of this. I think he knew, he got popped, he's out for a game. I think that's great, and I think that they should continue doing it.
I'm going to defer to Mike only because for me, all the rules surrounding soccer,
mystifying.
Yeah, just broadly speaking.
Yes.
Yeah. Mystifying.
And I'm going to be going down.
Wait till you try and learn about offsides.
I know. Forget it. Just forget it, right? So
wait, you're not allowed to be faster than the other team? Is that what offsides means?
That's exactly what it means.
And then you can actually end a match tied, but yet that it means something else in the grand scheme of things. It's like, I'm lost.
Yeah.
See, that's why soccer will never succeed here. It's like socialism, right? You can't be faster than the other players. You can't get to their goal first.
You do know it already has succeeded here.
Yeah, I know. But still need to clue him in.
Mr. Baseball.
Exactly. Okay, more of the Gee and Ursula Show. We're going to have your feedback and, of course, our words to live by. Stay with us.
Hey Dad, have you heard the news from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services?
No, I haven't.
Eggs have climbed higher than ever on the new food pyramid, and that's great news for anyone who loves starting the day strong.
Well, at Wilcox Family Farms, we make it easy with our ready-to-eat hard-boiled eggs. They're delicious, protein-packed snack you can grab on the go, now ranked higher than ever.
Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
It is summertime, and here in the Northwest, that means we are all looking for reasons to be out and enjoying the sunshine, right? Well, most of us. But in any case, if you want to take your car out to the mountains, the coast, the lake, the campsite, even just a weekend drive where you pretend that traffic is not going to be part of the adventure, that is why our family drives Subarus, and we're talking about two of them that we purchased from Carter Subaru. We went with Carter Subaru, and we are repeat customers because they are doing everything right. They have everything that you want in a dealership. They have folks who are easy to work with. They're straightforward. They're helpful. And at Carter Subaru, they are there when you need them after the sale as well. And right now, Carter Subaru can help you get ready for all your summer plans. You can get the 2026 Subaru Forester right now with financing starting at just 1.9%. So whether you're hauling the kids or your dogs or your camping gear or some combination of all of the above, start with my friends at Carter Subaru. Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline, or online at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 6/30/26.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know that hiking isn't for you. Sure, it sounds nice to be in nature while exercising, but that's what a gym and houseplants are for. I mean, you don't even like walking upstairs. So why would you walk up a hill for miles? To what, end up high in the air? Come on, you know you're scared of heights. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pricing coverage match limited by state law.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
I just can't dig it.
Dig what?
My water line.
Needs replacing?
And I don't want digging in my yard.
And maybe your driveway.
Can't dig it.
Don't dig it.
But how do you?
Apollo Plumbing replaces water lines without digging up your yard.
You're Dan.
From the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Apollo Plumbing.
Our trenchless technology replaces water and sewer lines.
Without digging up my yard?
2 little holes is all it takes.
Sounds better.
Faster, too.
And my yard?
Like we were never there.
Sounds spendy.
Not so much.
Oh?
In the end, about the same as that messy digging you don't want.
How do you figure?
Think about that landscaping you love.
Yeah?
Trenchless means you won't be paying to replace it.
Or my driveway.
We run everything underground.
Trenchless?
Do them all the time.
How about...
Easy payments?
Yeah.
With approved credit. Sure thing.
When can you get started?
We are the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Love that.
Apollo Plumbing, trenchless waterline replacement.
Sewer lines, too.
Can you dig that?
That I can.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all. Sound like your home? Then call for your free inspection.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Always exhausted, loud snoring, keeping your partner awake? You could have sleep apnea and not even know it. South Seattle Smiles has a comfortable solution with no CPAP required. Most medical insurance accepted. Call 206-241-5533 today. SouthSeattleSmiles.com.
And just like that, it is time to wrap up today's edition of the Gee and Ursula Show with Mike Lewis. And as guest, Mike, I'm going to have you start with our text messages.
All right. Are the richest people moving out of Washington? This was a Danny Westneat column. Peter in Port Orchard. Unlike others, I'm not worried about any millionaires moving out of Washington. Every state has tax laws. Every state has millionaires. And most states have income tax laws that apply to all millionaires' income, not just a portion over $1 million.
Mark in Nisqually says, people will look askance at a tie that only raises the yachts. At least the peasants will.
The question is Seattle bad for the restaurant business is as bad as for the restaurant business as people believe. From 206, it would greatly help bars and restaurants if the state would stop raising minimum wage for bartenders and servers who make tips. I'm not saying lower the minimum wage, but stop the constant increases. Also, some sort of help with business insurance. That's a very good point. 26 years of no claims, and it keeps increasing exponentially. I could not agree more.
Oh, wow. Rebecca in West Seattle says, yes, Mike, it is brutal. Liquor licenses shot up every quarter. Regulatory compliance costs, back end in general, is brutal. And then we had more than 20% jump in 65% of our hourly wage earning employees overnight in 2025. It has been nearly impossible to survive.
On LA schools massively cutting screen time for students, from Naomi in 253. Oh my God, I teach in middle school ELA. Yes, I scaled back on text use in the classroom, back to handwriting, pencil, and paper.
Jeff in Bonnie Lake, another teacher, says 1,000% all for no screens. Kids find game sites on their Chromebooks. They don't need education on tech to be proficient with it. They need education on problem solving because they have a level of learned helplessness that is breathtaking.
Totally agree. On the Ask Ursula, my grandson cries tantrums when he comes over at my house while mom works. Give something to him for safekeeping that belongs to mom. He has to take care of it. It has worked for so many kids, suggested by a daycare teacher.
It is so true. 253, is this Chef? Suck it up, Grandma.
No.
Bribes and lies are the way of your world. You do what you need to do to get things done. You don't negotiate with terrorists. Okay, no, that was Chef.
I did not write that. If I fake
you
a
do
text,
feel that.
I will put in 425.
Okay. Just a reminder, if you have some kind of dilemma or some kind of situation that you want a little advice on, ask Ursula. I would love to help you out. You can hit me up by going to mynorthwest.com/Ask Ursula, or just text Ask Ursula on our text line. Okay, scenarios. I'm jealous of my brother's thin, gorgeous wife, who's also a lovely person and a lot younger than him. Brian from Arlington says, my aunt was in the same situation. She's not in her 20s, but she's a very attractive woman. She married a dentist 30 years older than she is. He was 78 and looks it. It was weird for a while on both sides of the family. Some family didn't like it at all, but things are great now. It took time for people to realize that it was real love. They fit and they are happy together.
On historic buildings and ferries. This is some great Kalakala history here. From the 206, the Kalakala ferry was a disaster from day one. This is all true. Originally named the Peralta, she washed several passengers overboard during her sea trials. I didn't know that. Then she burned to the waterline. A subsequent Art Deco rebuild changed her from a double-ended ferry to a single-ended one, a design which does not work for anything possibly the Bremerton run. This thing led to a life of disaster from the very beginning.
And then there's 425 who says, hey, Mike, there are still some parts and chunks of the Kalakala over on the side of the Kirkland Connector Trail near Kirkland City Works lot.
I'm going to have to go look those up. I wouldn't mind having one of the portals, actually.
I know. And just bringing up the Kalakala, I mean, that just brought me back to right about, what was that? Okay, that wasn't my high school years, but that was in the 90s.
But it was still in town and sitting in Lake Union because my first apartment was very near here at KIRO when I was still a PI reporter. And I literally, from my window, I was up on a hill, looked directly at the Kalakala every day for the 10 years I was there. And I dug it. And in fact, even there was a chance that maybe even I kayaked out there and climbed on it illegally just to take a look around. There's a chance I did that. And I thought it was cool. I was hoping they were going to rebuild it. I liked it.
I know. I was hoping,
and I like that it was a testament to procrastination anyway, because, I suffer from that like everyone does.
And I was hoping that they would make it some kind of cool venue.
Yeah.
But I like the
agree.
visions. They just never came to fruition.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Well, with that, let's do our words to live by. And I'm just going to continue to piggyback on this idea of choosing joy. I love this quote. Embracing the present moment, finding beauty in our surroundings, and living with purpose and intention can truly enrich our lives. My life was enriched today by you stepping in for G.
Very good to be back on the show.
Thank you so
really
much.
had a good time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know that we're going to be talking very soon.
I love that the folks at Canlis already know we're going to be there.
Yeah, they do.
I love that.
Yeah, they do.
Chef, thank you so much. And Nick.
Well, should there be less screen time or none at all for kids at school, from the tablets they can view to cell phones that they think are cool? Would they take the change in stride and find new ways to spend their time, or be having fits and begging back for their gadgets on a dime? And speaking of a quick change that someone is hoping for, would be a rug pulled out from under Swift and Kelsey's wedding door. Otherwise, Mike has a special gift in store at Canlis for Ursula in the next few months.
Yeah, he does.
Cannot wait. Well, I hope if you are going to do any sort of World Cup festivities that we run into each other somewhere downtown, because I'm heading there shortly.
Good luck. Relax into the crowds and enjoy it. You'll see a whole bunch of stuff in Seattle you don't normally see.
I love it. Have a great day. Jake and Spike are coming up next.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
Looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get the same breakthrough one-day treatment I received at Advanced Hair during their once yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during their best offer of the year. For details and a free consultation, call 425-449-8185, advancedhair.com.
Sully here. I help commuters get around. And look, you know the first key to a good commute? A car that starts in the morning.
That only happens when it's serviced regularly and repaired correctly. That's why I recommend Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. They've been keeping neighbors rolling for over 50 years. Honest work, fair prices, and zero guessing about that check engine light, and you know it's going to come on. So take it to Bucky's. Your car and your commute will thank you. Visit Bucky's.com. That's Bucky's.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Nick, you know what my dad always used to say?
Oh, which thing? Let me guess. If you put anything on a hot dog besides mustard, it's un-American?
Okay, that's true. Okay, but no, about the word worry. Remember he used to say about the word worry?
Yes, that it's not a verb, but it actually is.
I know it's a verb, but Nick, his point was nothing comes from worrying. You can sit here and worry about all the news and all about the chaos in the world. You worry about your health, but nothing comes of it. You have to take action.
Right.
Like, for instance, you and I, we go into Longevity Medical Clinic. That's an action. It's about taking that action. Like, people can go to Longevity Medical Clinic to get the free health analysis, and then they can find out how they're aging and the things they can do in order to slow down the process to have a big, full, rich life so you can enjoy a hot dog with whatever you want on it.
And now worry is a verb.
See, there you go. So it all starts for you taking action. I was a patient at Longevity long before I started doing these commercials. So get your free health analysis. Go to lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Giving your liver a spring clean